with back-to-back wins over URI in the first round and 6th seed Duquesne last night. With the tournament close to home, the Rams will have the shirtless herd and over 1,300 students in attendance. The Bronx is in the building as the Rams head to the Barclays Center with everything on the line. It's win or go home in the Atlantic 10 quarterfinals. Fordham and La Salle is coming up next on WFUV Sports.
Welcome into the one-on-one pregame report. I'm Lou Orlando alongside Nick Guzman. The waiting is over. It's finally time for the Fordham Rams to play some postseason basketball. It's been a magical season so far. If you haven't been dialed in, Fordham went 24-7. That's their first 20-win season since 1991. It's their best overall record since 1971. That team went all the way to the NCAA tournament, 12-6 in conference. And I think most importantly, they clinch a double bye, and that's really where I want to start, Nick, is they get the double bye, and what that means is they get to sit back for the first two rounds, kind of watch, and now they know they go up against number 11 La Salle. Nick, how important is that double bye for this team?
It's so important because La Salle right now, it's going to be 3 games in 3 days for them. Fordham have been sitting and resting and waiting for this one. La Salle are going to be a little bit winded, but when it comes to tournament basketball, really anything can happen. But the rest 100% benefits Fordham. They got that big win against Duquesne to end the season. That's who La Salle beat to get here. It could have been a Fordham-Duquesne rematch, but that blowout win to Duquesne on the final day of the season secured the double bye for Fordham. So crucial. And now it's important that the Rams don't underestimate this La Salle team. They played a very, very close game early in the season, and that's kind of the game that sort of sprung Fordham into this big run in the A10. They were 1-3 in Atlantic 10 play before that La Salle game. Fordham goes to La Salle. They get a game winner from Antrell Charlton. That sort of springs Fordham forward in this A10 season. They win 5 games in a row. They finished 12-6 in the A10, but without that game, and that was a very, very close game. These two teams are evenly matched despite Fordham getting that double bye and La Salle having to beat Duquesne and having to beat Rhode Island before that. But the rest is going to be big. 3 games in 3 days is not easy on any team, and Fordham have to take advantage of that late in this one.
Yeah, I think you always come across these conversations whenever one team has a bye and the other team's been playing for a little bit, rest versus rust, and I'm sure there's always something to, this La Salle team's been playing for 2 days, they're probably sharp, but you're never going to say no to 2 days of rest and then, hey, you only have to win 2 games to get to the championship, so you're always going to take the double bye. And, it's funny, you talk about the last time Fordham played La Salle, that was back on January 14th, and really the conversations around this team were completely different. As you said, 1-3 in conference play going into that game. Darius Quisenberry didn't start the last time they played against La Salle, and it was a 66-64 win. Antrell Charlton hit the game winner. Will Richardson led the way with 19 points, but I think when you look at this La Salle team, I think, right, as you said, it's important not to sleep on them. When you look at their starting 5, I think there's really a wealth of scoring depth. You look at Khalil Brantley, who's been their scoring leader, but Jameer Bruckus, as of late, his last 3 games, you're looking at 18, 18, 23, scoring at a 66% rate from the floor. And you have Josh Nickelberry, the 6th man of the year. So I think there's probably not, that top scorer in the A10 that you're looking out for, but a lot of scoring depth throughout this lineup.
There are weapons for sure, and Fordham are going to have their hands full defensively, but that's where this Fordham team thrives, on the defensive side of the ball. We've seen them lock up some of the best players in the A10, whether it's Kyle Rose, Antrell Charlton, playing lockdown defense down the stretch. For Fordham, I'm not so worried about the defensive side of the ball, more on the offensive side of things. We've seen this team can get cold sometimes. That George Mason game, there were long stretches where Fordham could not score a basket, and they still got the game to overtime despite shooting, woefully from the field. That speaks to the defense that this team plays. So if Fordham shows up and plays with the same sort of defensive intensity that they usually do, and they can make a couple of clutch shots, and they can just sort of get the 3-ball going early, make some shots, get into a rhythm, establish themselves against La Salle, they'll have a lot of success out there.
Yeah, I think the 3-ball in particular, that's kind of an area where this game could maybe get turned around its head. Fordham comes in as the favorite, but 14 out of 15th in the A10 when it comes to three-point percentage. La Salle is 6th, though. If La Salle gets it going from deep and Fordham doesn't, you wonder if that's somewhere where they get it going. And you kind of mentioned the streakiness, right? Fordham's offense can get streaky. La Salle is a team, though. They are streaky. Ending the regular season, they lost their last 5 games. Before that, they won 5 straight. And then before both of that, they lost 5 again. So they've kind of been up and down streaky, but they've won their last 2. If La Salle's on a streak, and it seems like they are, and it seems like they're really kind of putting it all together. This is a very talented LaSalle team that's probably better than just, the 11 seed.
The bottom line is the month we're currently in, it's March. And anything can happen in March. LaSalle, if you're taking your picks for this A10 tournament, like you said, Lou, they're not a team coming in hot. They did not come in this tournament hot. They lost 5 games in a row. They lost bad games. The final game of the regular season against Loyola Chicago at home, they lost. Loyola Chicago have had a rough time of it in the A10 in their first season in the conference. To lose that game at home, they were blown out before that at Dayton. They lost a home game to Duquesne, a blowout 91-74 loss to Duquesne. And then they play that same Duquesne team in the second round and show up and beat them 81-70. You never know what's going to happen. And the fact that LaSalle can come into this tournament so cold, then win 2 games, and be the team that Fordham's playing here in this quarterfinal, I just can't stress enough how the Rams cannot overlook this LaSalle team. There's weapons, but Fordham, they've got weapons too. They've got Darius Quisenberry, they've got Khalid Moore. They have so many contributors on the offensive side of the ball. Defensively, we know how sound they are. It's going to be a really, really interesting matchup.
Fordham's got weapons. They've also got a crazy passionate fan base.
Yes.
And having this game at Barclays Center, we know I think over 1,000 tickets got sold to students alone. And
1,400 was the last number I saw.
1,400, right? So you also have Fordham alums that you think are going to be there. I've already heard just from texting some of the people we know at the station that it seems like Barclays is filling up. So this is going to be a home environment for Fordham. You're talking about, I think it's their last 6 games at Rose Hill that were sold out. They won all of those games. So you get a home environment in there that's, it's supposed to be a neutral site. It might not play like a neutral site, Nick.
Coach Ergo and the players have talked so much about how important it is to have a loud atmosphere at these home games. And now this is technically a neutral site game at Barclays, but we saw all week they were selling tickets inside the Rose Hill gym. The lines were out the door. The hype is palpable. The hype is real. Students are traveling to go to this game in packs, in bunches. There's going to be a lot of Fordham students there. And that sort of atmosphere, when it's supposed to be a neutral site game, does so much. Because think about LaSalle's game against Duquesne yesterday. There would not have been a home crowd there for either side. This is going to be a Fordham crowd. And we've seen what allows Rose Hill Gym can do to this Fordham team. It elevates them. Fordham have had some slow starts at home, but once the crowd really starts getting into it in the second half, they've pulled away from opponents. I'd say it as good as any team in the country. They've used home energy to their advantage, and that's credit to Keith Ergo and the players for sort of calling out the students and the fans early in the non-conference schedule, saying, "Hey guys, we got to get to the gym. We got to pack the Rose Hill Gym." The students and fans have responded. The gym's been packed, and now we're gonna move Rose Hill campus south to the Barclays Center and pack it down there.
We've seen what the fans can do for Fordham. We've also seen what the fans can do to opposing teams,
Yes.
opposing coaches talking about how it shakes them up. And playing in Barclays, that's an NBA arena, maybe a little bit of chills for that. Fordham's already played in Barclays. They played last year against Miami, but I think we're almost all set to send it down. Ryan Greger and Sam Davis are going to have the call from Barclays, but first we're going to send it. They talked to Keith Ergo for the game.
Sam Davis here with Coach Ergo. Coach, at the beginning of the season, you talked to us about hoping to play your best basketball by the end of the year. And now that it's at the end of the year, really, how have you seen this team grow over the course of the season as we're looking at the A10 tournament?
Yeah, you know what I thought? I thought Saturday was honestly the closest thing to 40 minutes of Fordham basketball that we've gotten to all year. Really encouraging. Not all that excited about this 5-day break, quite honestly. But our guys have done a tremendous job the last couple of days, keeping their bodies and their minds fresh and prepared for tomorrow night. But I've been really excited about our leadership, man, and our commitment to trying to get better each and every day and staying in the present moment, not really looking ahead.
Over 1,300 student tickets being sold over the last couple of days. Obviously, a lot of alumni interest as well. How important is it to have the A10 tournament in Brooklyn? How important is that for you and for this team as a whole?
Oh, it's fantastic. Again, it's a testament to what these players have put forward, the energy, the sacrifice, and the commitment they've made. And it comes back to trying to do something at Fordham, for a long period of time. We want the fans to be engaged. And all it does is show that Fordham is a proud basketball community. They do love their athletics. They do love their basketball program. There is tradition here, and it's not just a one-hit wonder.
Sam Davis, Coach Ergo. Coach, thanks so much.
Go Rams.
The Atlantic 10 quarterfinals live from the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. The 3-seed Fordham Rams take on the 11-seed La Salle Explorers here on WFUV Sports. Welcome to the broadcast. I'm Sam Davis alongside Ryan Gregoire. And Ryan, it's been a record-setting season for Fordham, but all that's on the line. Win or go home here today. The Rams are going to look to survive and advance in this one tonight.
Sam, it's March. That's the name of the game in March. You mentioned it, survive and advance. You know, Coach Ergo talks about there are 3 seasons, the non-conference, the conference play, and then the Atlantic 10 tournament. That's what we are right now. Everybody's 0-0. That's still left. You got to take care of business. What you did throughout the year, 24-7. It's been magical, but it doesn't matter if you don't come away with a win right here.
Fordham is led by A10 Coach of the Year, Keith Ergo, plus their 2 leading scorers, Darius Quisenberry and Khalid Moore. Moore put up 24 points against Duquesne in the regular season finale. Quisenberry was right there with 21. It's been those 2 guys, along with Coach Ergo, of course. They've led the way all season long for the Rams.
They've led the way on the court, as you mentioned, but also off the court. They're the guys that are the first ones in, last ones out every single day. They've embodied what it's meant to be a Fordham Ram in 2023, because that's a lot different than just what a few years ago that meant. Darius Quisenberry, to give him credit, he stayed through the coaching change. He took on the role as the de facto leader, and he's made Coach Ergo, this staff, this fan base, nothing but proud.
Fordham has as much of a home court advantage as any team in this tournament. Over 1,300 students waited outside in hour-long lines to pick up student tickets earlier this week on campus in the Bronx. They're here tonight, they're loud tonight, and they're hoping to provide Fordham with a serious advantage in this one.
Sam, I believe they sold over 1,400 tickets, and I'll be quite honest, there was a minute I was looking up what the student body was, right? How many more students do we even have at this school? It speaks volumes of what Ed Cole, this entire staff, has done to turn Fordham into a program, a university that even earlier this year there was nobody in the gym, as we talk about, to a place where you have to wait an hour to get tickets to a game 3 days out.
After losing 5 straight to end the regular season, La Salle, on the other hand, they've really surprised everyone. Back-to-back wins here in the A10 tournament. They handled URI in the first round with a 73-56 win, and then they upset the 6th seed Duquesne 81-70 last night to make it here to their first quarterfinals appearance since 2015. It's been a special couple of days for the Explorers.
We've talked about the survive and advance mentality. No one embodies that more than La Salle, a team that throughout the year you would say relatively disappointing regular season, but suddenly come tournament time, they have turned it on. 2 massive wins. Nobody expected them to be here, but that's the beauty of March.
Leading the way for La Salle in their win last night was Jameer Brickus, who had 23 points. He's been on fire lately, averaging almost 20 points per game in his last 3 games. And you can't forget about Khalil Brantley as well, La Salle's leading scorer. He had 22 points in their second-round victory over Duquesne. Those 2 guys will lead the way for the La Salle Explorers offense. It's those 2 guards that Fordham is going to have the challenge of slowing down here tonight.
Now, the combined 45 points that we talk about, but what impressed me as well is 10 assists between the 2 of them. These are unselfish guards. You saw in that second half versus Duquesne, they were able to take over with their unselfish play, their energy, getting into the paint, dishing it, finding the right man. That's the name of the game. So if Fordham wants to be successful, come out of here with the win, you got to stop that 1-2 punch.
Let's dive into the starting lineups first for the La Salle Explorers. Coming in at 15 and 18, the junior guard, I mentioned him, Jameer Brickus, number 2, coming off 23 points, averaging just under 20 points per game in his last 3. Hassan Drame, the senior forward, number 4, the St. Peter's transfer, his brother, Husseini Drame, also a St. Peter's transfer, also a senior, the forward, number 11. In addition, rounding out that starting lineup, number 5, the sophomore guard, Khalil Brantley, guy from the Bronx, local kid, at 22 points, like I mentioned, against Duquesne. And finally, Mamadou Ducore, the graduate forward, number 14, the transfer from Rutgers. That's the starting 5 for La Salle.
We talked about the guards, but how about the Drame twins? You want to talk about experience? How about the Elite 8 last year? Husseini Drame dropping 12 and 7 versus UNC, a team that was the runner-up for the national championship. We're not talking Atlantic 10. We are talking the national championship. Those 2 are experienced, and they're going to have everything that Fordham can handle here tonight.
And meanwhile, for the Fordham Rams, it's a starting lineup that they've brought out ever since they really started to turn this season around with a big win streak on the road in the A10. It actually started the last time Fordham played La Salle. It was Will Richardson, the freshman guard, getting his first start of the season, and he had 19 points in that game in the starting lineup here tonight, along with Khalid Moore, the graduate forward number 2, the A10 third team this year. He had a double-double in that game against La Salle earlier in January. Darius Quisenberry, the graduate guard number 3, coming off 21 points last time out against Duquesne. He was on the A10 second team this season. Rostik Nowitzki, the senior center, number 15, and Antrell Charlton, the junior guard, number 24. That rounds out the starting 5 for the Fordham Rams.
Now you mentioned it, Sam. You go back. Fordham starts this year in the Atlantic 10 1-3. On the road at La Salle. This is when your season can turn on its heel. You start 1-4, it's going to be very hard to make up those games. They fight on the road. It's a back-and-forth game. Antrell Charlton hits a shot with 0.3 seconds remaining. Will Richardson, that was his first start of the year. You mentioned that 19 points. He's really came along throughout the season. A notable snub from the all-rookie team. I'm sure we'll get into that and more later.
There's a couple of snubs for this Fordham team in terms of guys making A10s or not making A10s. We'll get into all of that, but those are regular season awards. We're into the postseason, and looking at the postseason for Fordham, 8-21 all-time in the Atlantic 10 tournament. With a win today, they will advance to the A10 semis for the first time since 2006. And against La Salle, the Rams have won 4 straight games, including, like you mentioned, a 66-64 victory on January 14th of this year, thanks to a game-winning jump shot from Antrell Charlton.
Now, all 4 of those wins by single digits. So these two teams, they play back and forth basketball. It's funny you mentioned Fordham looking to do something they haven't done since that 2006 season. Well, Sal, on the other end, we're so used to throughout this year. It's Fordham, the team with that history that's so long in the past, but they're trying to do that for the first time since 2002. They haven't made it to the quarterfinals since the 11-12 season. So unprecedented wonders here for both teams tonight. We'll see which one cracks.
The Explorers, the 13th ranked defense in the A10. They give up a lot of points, but Fordham doesn't necessarily shoot the ball very well in terms of efficiency. They're near to the bottom of the A10 in that statistic. Something has to give tonight between the two sides. Fordham relies on their defense. They've done it all year long. They're going to look to rely on that defense in this one here today, as the Barclays Center is rocking with Fordham students and plenty of other Fordham alumni and Fordham fans here having the Atlantic 10 in Brooklyn. We'll see the advantage it gives. I think it's going to be a big one.
Now, at another important note, La Salle did not come to the Rose Hill this year, so they didn't see this transformation. This is not the same Fordham team we've seen in the past. You've seen coach in and day out, Travis Ford, Mark Schmidt, whoever it may be. They've spoke volumes about this, the loudest they ever heard Rose Hill. No, we're not at Rose Hill, we're at Barclays Center, but you mentioned it's Brooklyn, it's Rose Hill South here tonight.
Coach Ergo gives a big hug to his leading scorer, his leader of the team, Darius Quisenberry, as the Rams are in their all-white jerseys, their white tops and white shorts with maroon letters and numbers on the front and the back. Meanwhile, the La Salle Explorers in their blue away jerseys, being the higher seed, blue jerseys, blue shorts with yellow letters and numbers on the front and back. Both teams are breaking the huddle and walking towards center court here at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, as we're moments away from the opening tip between the 11-seed La Salle Explorers and the 3-seed Fordham Rams in the Atlantic 10 quarterfinals. Dayton was a winner in the quarterfinal just before this one over St. Joe's, so the winner of this game will take on the Dayton Flyers on Saturday afternoon. But the Rams certainly aren't thinking about that. They're thinking about the next 40 minutes in this one.
It's exactly what their team's been all year. It's about the moment, not the past, not the future, but the present, which is right now.
Nowitzki will go up for the tip along with Fusini Drame. It's won by Fusini Drame for La Salle. Ducore has it, as handing it off there to Brickus, and he finally gets it over half court for the Explorers, who start at the top of the key. Brickus driving right into the lane with the right hand, blocked by Nowitzki, but right there for the putback, it's Ducore for 2.
And that's a fantastic job from Ducore reading that. He let Nowitzki get into the paint, clean that one up, but he was in the perfect position to put it right in.
2-0 La Salle, 19:35 first half. Richardson at the top of the key, lobbing it to Quisenberry at the left arc, holding it at his hip, passing it to Moore at the free throw line. Moore driving to the right block, kicks it out in the near corner. Richardson steps into a long 2, off the back of the rim. Rebound there by Brickus, and he'll look to push for La Salle. 2-0 La Salle, first minute. Brickus, double team comes at the top of the key, but he's able to bounce pass out of it to Fusini Drame. Now it's Brantley at the left wing. Brantley driving into the paint with the right hand. The floater is short, but he's fouled and will head to the free throw line. The leading scorer, Khalil Brantley, will head to the charity stripe for 2.
Khalil Brantley, 19 points versus Fordham back in January. So certainly somebody who's exposed his defense, which we haven't seen a lot of this year. Kyle Rose not in the starting lineup as he's been, but you figure, Sam, once he comes in the game, that's somebody that he'll handle. He always embraces the role of the number one option, and that is Khalil Brantley for LaSalle.
19:06 first half, 2-0 LaSalle in front. Brantley at the line, the first free throw is good. He leads the team in scoring at 14.2 points per game. Also first in the team in passing. He has 4 assists per game. Coming off 19-point performance against Fordham last time out. Second free throw rolls out. LaSalle will be shooting in front of the student section here. As Fordham moving left to right at the Barclays. LaSalle moving right to left. Charlton at the top of the key. Inside the paint now, kicks it out Moore at the right wing. He drives baseline. At the right block, Moore starts and stops, double team comes, passing out of it, Charlton top of the key, fakes a 3, steps in the left elbow for 2, and it rolls in. Fordham's on the board, 3-2, LaSalle up by 1, 18:45 first half.
Almost deja vu right there for the Explorers. Very similar to the shot that Antrell Charlton buried back in Philadelphia to win that game at the buzzer.
Antrell Charlton loves that mid-range, hits one there and gets Fordham on the board. Brickus shifting in the lane, the runner, and it's good. Easy 2 there for Brickus, 5-2 LaSalle.
He's showing his driving ability right there, 21 points per game over his last 3. So when it has mattered most, Sam, he's turned it up. A really nice move right there from the junior. Richardson
will hold the ball at his hip at the A10 logo here in Brooklyn, lobs it in to Moore. Moore fakes the handoff, passing into the paint, but he traveled. Moore gets caught with a walk. A little rusty for Fordham in the first couple of minutes, coming off a 5-day layoff. Meanwhile, LaSalle has played 2 straight games. 5-2 LaSalle in front, 18:28 first half.
It's a good point, because typically you figure that would favor Fordham, the fresh legs versus a tired LaSalle, but sometimes it's about being in a rhythm that helps you get off to a fast start. So we'll see right now. It's been a good start for the Explorers.
Brantley surging ahead to the basket. It's pinned off the backboard by Nowitzki. Moore the other way for Fordham. Handing it off, Quisenberry. Right arc for 3 off the side of the rim. Moore tries to track down the rebound, but Brickus comes down with it for the Explorers. He'll push it the other way. At the left wing, crossover move. Spinning into the paint now, kicks it out. Hassan Drame fakes a 3 in the far corner. Now steps back and shoots. High off the front rim, no good. And it looks like a foul over the back on the rebound. Quisenberry went to the ground. Fusini Drame picks it up. Fordham will have possession.
Hassan Drame missing that 3 right there. You see his size. You don't think of him as a 3-point shooter, but at 32%, and certainly somebody we know Fordham will dare some players to shoot. I wonder if he's going to be one of those guys they let wide open.
Hassan Drame, the St. Peter's transfer, has 10 rebounds per game in the A10 tournament so far. Just 4 during the regular season. A number of Explorers really stepped up this year in the A10 tournament. Charlton passing it, Rose at the right wing. Fakes a 3, now he steps into one. Yes! Kyle Rose for 3. It's 5-5, 17-23 first half.
The impact Kyle Rose makes on both ends of the floor, it's spent volumes for this team. You go back to last game, plus 29 versus Duquesne in a 40-minute game where he doesn't start. That's hard to do, equally as impressive.
Ducore guarded by Simbila at the left elbow. Looking to go to work on the big man. At the left block now, spins in the paint. Lowers his shoulder, puts up the floater, deflected by Simbila. Fight for the rebound. Hassan Drame comes up with it. He lobs it in. Simbila got a hand on it, and a foul going against LaSalle. Simbila goes to the ground hard as he's helped up by his teammates. Looks like he's going to be okay. 5-5, 16:57 first half.
Fran Dunphy credited his group last time to bring in the energy, but he talked about Fordham 100% is going to bring it. They're not about talent. They're about effort and wearing you out. You're seeing right now, just a few minutes into the game, every loose ball, the Fordham Rams are all over it.
While the Barclays Center is a lot larger of an arena than the Rose Hill Gym, it's still very loud in here as these students are making some noise for Fordham. Charlton bringing it over half court, has it at the top of the key. Crossover move, lobbing into the paint. Simbila underneath the basket. At the right block, goes up for 2, misses the open layup. 5-5, 16:40 first half. Here goes Brantley the other way. For LaSalle, starts and stops at the left wing. Now surges towards the basket, kicks it out to Hassan Drame, far corner. He pump fakes, but then loses it out of bounds off his foot. Fordham will have it, 5-5, 16:30 first half.
Kyle Rose insert of the game, and sure enough, a turnover right away. Great job guarding Khalil Brantley right there, forcing that pass outside that caused the disruption.
Quisenberry will look to walk it up for the Rams as he calls out a play and has it across the logo. 5-5, 16:30 first half. Splits a couple of defenders, drives to the hoop, misses the layup off the glass, a little too strong, rebounded by Brickus. Brickus will bring it up for LaSalle. Dribbles with the left, guarded closely by Charlton. Now has it at the left wing. Angling towards the top of the perimeter. Now to the right wing. Prickus, crossover move. Drives in the lane. The layup is no good. Rebounded by Rose. Rose will push the pace. Up ahead to Quisenberry at the left wing. Quisenberry into the paint now. Passing underneath. Simbila! The two-handed slam. 7-5. Fordham in front. 15-40 first half.
Perfect place at the perfect time. Fordham now playing defense, pushing at the other end, catching La Salle out of position, and slamming it home. Miss Simbila.
Brantley handing it off to Fusini Drame, right back to Brantley. Brantley surging towards the basket, and he's fouled. Between Brantley and Prickus, driving into the lane a lot. But that's going to lead us to our first timeout at 15:28 remaining in this first half. Fordham in front, 7-5, and we're going to go to the third member of our crew. It's Mike Calamari on the sidelines. Take it away, Mike.
Yeah, Sam, and you look about this big gym, Barclays Center. Teams in the A10 aren't used to playing in such big gyms. And you look at the tournament so far this season, La Salle is the only team in the first 2 days to shoot above 50%. They did that Tuesday against Rhode Island, and they did that last night against Duquesne. The tournament, there has not been a game where both teams have shot above 42% from the field so far in this one. Fordham 43% from the field, La Salle just 29%. Something to watch as we go forward in this one. Back to you guys.
15-28 in the first half. Fordham up 7-5 over La Salle. And this La Salle run to the quarterfinals, really, it's not as surprising when you look at the coaching staff, led by Fran Dunphy. 595 career wins, over 30 years at Penn and Temple. He's been to 17 NCAA tournaments. He knows a thing or two about winning in March. It's just his first year with La Salle. He already has this program back a game away from their first A10 semifinals since 2002.
Certainly was surprised to see a 74-year-old guy in Fran Duffy come out of retirement, but that's what he does. He brings experience to this team. You mentioned it, when you get into the late season, that's what matters, and that's what he's brought to this roster. And they go on that tailspin, they lose 5 straight to end the year, but he's able to have that calm and collective personality and persona about him that his team, they never wavered, and they got here thanks to their coach, Fran Duffy.
Fordham in front by 2, and there was a little bit of worry heading into this game. I alluded to it before our first time out here, that Fordham will come out a little slow, come out a little sloppy, considering the fact that they haven't played in 5 days. The momentum is definitely for La Salle heading into this one in terms of them winning 2 straight and obviously having a lot of momentum rolling into this. But the Fordham defense has shown up here. They've gone 3 minutes, La Salle, without scoring a basket. They've come out and proved in this first 5 minutes that they're that number 3 seed and they're a force in the A10.
You can have that conversation. Would you rather be hot and playing right now or the fresh legs? But one thing you can't deny, when you're fresh, you're going to play as hard as you possibly can. So it's no surprise to see Fordham early in this one going for every loose ball, making La Salle as uncomfortable as they possibly can. We know this team, they're predicated on defense. So if the ball's not going in the basket, well, that's something they practice. They're used to that. They're used to a game plan when that's the case. Right now, we'll see how that holds up. But certainly, Fordham, if there's one thing we know about the team this year, regardless win or loss, is they're going to bring 110%.
That's what Coach Ergo preaches to his team, and that's what they've done all year long. They're a very deep team, as is La Salle, who comes into the game as the second in the A10, 26th in the NCAA in bench points. They have a lot of productivity off their bench. They have the A10 Sixth Man of the Year in Josh Nickelberry, who is yet to check into the game here in this one, as it's going to be Khalil Brantley, the sophomore guard, at the free throw line for La Salle. 22 points last game against Duquesne. The first free throw rolls in for him. He'll have one more. 7-6, 15-28 first half.
We mentioned the Fran Dunphy effect, and Khalil Brantley, he's a holdover from Ashley Howard's staff last year. Dunphy was able to retain him after he entered the portal, so it says a lot about the coach of Dunphy to keep a talent like Khalil Brantley.
And we're tied at 7 with that second free throw. 15-25 first half. Charlton will walk it up. Stops in the backcourt, now passes it to Quisenberry in the near sideline, who has it now at the right wing, passing into the near corner. Rose driving into the lane with the left hand, and one. 9-7, Fordham in front, 15-13 first half. Kyle Rose with 5 early points.
It's everything he does defensively. You'll take 5 points in the game from him with how impactful he's been, certainly this early in the game, just 5 minutes in. That is something Fordham has to be ecstatic about.
The guy who averages just 7.4 points per game on the year. Like you mentioned, Ryan, much more of a defender. That's his game, but he can certainly shoot it from beyond the arc at times. He's shown that throughout his career with Fordham, as he's at the line here for one more free throw. It's too short off the front of the rim. It'll be Brickus bringing this one up for La Salle. On the far sideline, he has it guarded by Rose. Through the legs dribble at the top of the key. Passing it Brantley. Brantley at the left wing. Brantley denies a screen. Euro step in the lane with the right hand, hangs just a little too strong off the back rim. 9-7 Fordham. Khalid Moore will rush it ahead. Here's Charlton at the left arc, dribbling with the left. Now Quisenberry top of the key. Jab step for Quisenberry. Handing it off Moore. Moore. Rose at the right wing. Denies a screen, drives baseline all the way to the basket. The up and under for Kyle Rose. 11-7, 14-25 first half.
Kyle Rose, originally recruited to Fordham as a point guard, so you're seeing it right there. The drive to the basket, if you play him so tight in the perimeter, he's going to take advantage of you. Nice job from him right there to get to the basket.
Brickus with a bounce pass to Brantley at the right wing. At the free throw line, stops. Too strong off the back rim on the jumper. Rebounded by Rose. He tracks it down. Passing it to Quisenberry. Quisenberry at the left wing. Steps into a three off the side of the rim. Nowitzki tried to grab the miss, but Brickus comes down with it for La Salle. Under 14 minutes first half. Bounce pass to Facini, Drame in the near corner. Drame fakes a three, passes it to Josius. Working on Nowitzki at the left block. Josius puts up the hook shot, no good. The ball is tipped around and Quisenberry comes down with it. Here's Charlton at the right wing. He's going to look to drive. Falls on the deck there, but is able to pass out of it as he finds Nowitzki in the far corner. Nowitzki lobs it up to Charlton at the A10 logo. Pass almost intercepted, but he gets it back. Bounce pass underneath. Moore, he goes up, misses the layup, but comes down with a rebound on the ground. Passing it to Quisenberry at the left wing. Another chance for Fordham. Quisenberry, bounce pass Moore, finding Nowitzki. The two-handed flush for the big man.
Rams catch some fortune right there with Khalid Moore getting the rebound, sitting on the ground, but then great teamwork right after. An excellent final pass from Khalid Moore to Rastin Nowitzki to slam that one home.
13-7, under 13 minutes in the first half. Here's Brickus at the top of the key. Guarded by Nowitzki. Now Fusini Drame at the left wing. Drame drives baseline. At the extended left block, kicks it out top of the key. Brickus. Two in the shot clock. Step back, a deep three off the side rim. Josius grabs the rebound, but it's a foul on La Salle. Underneath the basket there. 12:45 first half, a 6-0 run for the Rams. They're up 13-7.
Now with a bit of a switch right there, you had Rastin Nowitzki out on the perimeter as that shot clock was winding down, so you held your breath. Hope Fordham could somehow corral that rebound. They don't have to because the foul goes against the Explorers.
Pat Kelly's checked in the game for Fordham along with Ramad Dean, the freshman. Kelly will inbound on the baseline, passing it in to Richardson. La Salle 0 for their last 8, almost 3 minutes scoreless here. 12:30, second half. Richardson, top of the key, hesitates now, drives towards the left block, kicks it out. Charlton, now it's Dean at the right wing. Entry pass into Simbila at the right block, kicking out, looking for Kelly, but a miscommunication there, thrown in the backcourt, and it's going to be a backcourt violation. 13-7, 12-27 first half, Fordham still in front.
It looked like Simbila expected Pat Kelly to be more directly center at the top of the key. He was off to the side just a bit. Certainly a dead ball turnover, so it won't hurt Fordham in the long run, but we know how important those are, stopping those turnovers, maintaining that battle for the Rams.
Fordham with just 2 turnovers in the early going. La Salle with 2 as well. Brickus at the top of the key, guarded by Richardson. Passing it to Nickelberry, and he's fouled. It's going to go against Antrell Charlton. Josh Nickelberry, the senior from Fayetteville, North Carolina, checking into the game. Spent a couple of years at Louisville before transferring to La Salle. Brantley will inbound on the far sideline, passing it in. Nickelberry deflected out of bounds. Possession will remain with La Salle.
You mentioned Josh Nickelberry, 6th man of the year in the conference, also 5th in three-point percentage. He is the best shooter on this team. So Fordham, we know how good they are on the wing, but he's somebody he can catch fire, hit 2 threes on back-to-back possessions versus Duquesne. You got to watch out for Josh Nickelberry.
Here's Brantley at the A10 logo, now driving towards the right wing. Crossover move, passing into the corner. It's Brickus into the far corner. Brickus driving towards the left block. Now pulling out at the left wing. Now he drives once again towards the basket, dishes it off Josius, who loses it for a second, but gets the layup in with the left hand. 13-9, under 12 minutes first half.
Josius, not a big man that plays a ton with, but how many different looks Fordham can throw out there. Certainly somebody, he fits that skill set, being at 6'10". Watch him to be in when Rastin Nowitzki or Abdou Simbila are in the game.
There's Pat Kelly at the top of the key for Fordham, handing it off to Dean. Dean passing to Richardson. Richardson at the left arc. turns down a screen. Now at the free throw line, steps back, the jump shot, and he hits it. 15-9, 11:30 first half.
Will Richardson makes that look so easy because the balance you need to spin in the air, turn around, hit that jump shot, for a freshman to have that skill set, beyond impressive.
Lobbing in the far corner, Brickets has it, looking to back down Richardson at the extended right block. Now spins at the block, passing it out. It's Brantley at the right wing. Under 10 seconds on the shot clock. Brantley drives baseline, pump fakes, and hangs and hits. A 10-footer there for Khalil Brantley, 15-11. Fordham still in the lead.
Excellent move right there. Got Quisenberry to jump in the air. He turned around, and suddenly Brantley hit the shot.
Under 11 minutes first half. Quisenberry spins at the right elbow, bounce pass into Simbila at the right block. Simbila going to go to work. Spins, puts up the floater, misses a little too strong. Dean looks to get the rebound, he cannot. Brantley passing it up ahead to Brickis. 1-on-2, but an easy layup for Jameer Brickis. It's 15-13, 10:30 first half.
That's been a theme of how the Explorers want to run the offense. When they get the rebound, catch Fordham off guard, they look to push it with Brickis. His size, his girth certainly fits that skill set.
Simbila at the top of the key for Fordham, handing it off Richardson. At the point, off a screen from Simbila, at the left elbow. Stops, now kicks it out. Kelly, who passes it to Quisenberry. Quisenberry, high screen, Simbila, top of the key. Off a couple of screens, steps in for a long two. Darius Quisenberry knocks down the jumper. 17-13, Fordham in front.
He started this game 0 for 3, so it's great for Fordham's leading scorer to get it going here in the first half.
Under 10 minutes in the first half. Fordham in the lead by 4 over La Salle. Brantley dribbling with the right at the left wing. Hesitates now, drives, dishing it off to Shepard, who goes up and throws it down with two hands. 17-13.
Pat Kelly wanted no part of that one, didn't even contest the shot. Shepard was determined to slam that one home.
Make that 17-15 now. La Salle trailing by 2, 9:30 first half. Simbila handing it off Quisenberry at the left wing. Quisenberry off a screen. Curling off it, dribbling with the right, looks to put it up and is fouled. Finally, a stoppage in play here with 9:30 remaining in this first half. Fordham in the lead, 17-15 over the La Salle Explorers. We're going to go back into the Bronx in the Rose Hill Studios for the one-on-one scoreboard with Nick Guzman.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
It's March, and that means we've got all kinds of tournament basketball to get into, starting off in the A10 quarterfinals, where St. Louis defeated George Mason 82-54, VCU topped Davidson 71-53, and Dayton got the better of St. Joe's 60-54. That sets up St. Louis versus VCU in the semifinals on one side of the bracket, while Dayton awaits the winner of Fordham and La Salle. Over to Big Ten second-round action, where Rutgers punched their tickets to the quarterfinals with a 62-50 win over Michigan. Ohio State defeated Iowa 73-69, and Illinois are currently up on Penn State 51-49 in the second half. Later, Minnesota will clash with Maryland at 9. In the Big East quarterfinals, UConn topped Providence 73-66, while Marquette survived an OT thriller against St. John's, winning 72-70. DePaul are up on Xavier 49-40 at the half, and Creighton and Villanova will tip off tonight at 9:30. Out in the Big 12, nationally ranked Baylor were upset by Iowa State 78-72. Kansas defeated West Virginia 78-61, and Texas leads Oklahoma State 35-26 at halftime. Tonight at 9:30, TCU and Kansas will square off. Our last college hoop stop is back east in the ACC quarterfinals, where Duke slammed Pitt 96-69, and UMiami squeezed past Wake Forest 74-72. Battling right now are UNC and Virginia, with Virginia leading 25-24 at the half. Clemson and NC State will wrap things up tonight at 9:30. In local NBA action, the Nets and Bucks are all set for tip-off, while the Knicks are out west in Sacramento to take on the Kings at 10. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Nick Guzman.
Welcome back to the Barclays Center. Sam Davis alongside Ryan Gregory here with 90.7 FM and WFUV Sports. Fordham in front 17-15 over La Salle with 9:30 remaining in this first half. And Ryan, give me the impressions from the first 10 minutes of action here tonight.
I've been really impressed with how La Salle's came out at the jump. They're not trying to shoot threes. That's what's been really important to me. Just taking one in this game. Fordham, they're excellent at defending the three. That's probably their best strength on the defensive side of the floor. And La Salle, they're not trying to beat Fordham that way. They're taking it inside on the fast break, trying to turn Fordham over, pushing the rebound. Fordham certainly, this might be a 3 versus 11, but this is going to be a dogfight for the rest of this game.
Certainly will be, as leading Fordham so far in this one, it's Kyle Rose with 7 points and 3 rebounds. And we talked about it, not just a defender, a guy who can score as well, and he's showing that here in this one tonight.
And despite not starting, he is one of the 5 guys, most important on this team. First team all defense in the A10, by the way. We've talked about that throughout this game. Third in steals, certainly a more than deserving award for him. And when he adds points to it, he's a scary player.
Thought there could have been another Fordham Ram on that all-defensive team, and that was Abdu Simbila, led the conference in blocks. He was left off of it, but a good award for Kyle Rose being on that all-defensive team, as it's going to be Darius Quisenberry at the free throw line here with Fordham up by 2, 17-15, 9:30 first half. First free throw is good from DQ, who's 84% from the line on the season.
Yeah, and just on that note from Simbila, I'm not sure what else you need to do besides have more blocks than anyone in the conference, right? That seems like a pretty good resume to have, but, unfortunately for him, and for the Fordham, it doesn't matter too much because they see these as program awards, not personal awards, so they're not going to take too much into that one.
Second free throw rims out, so 1 for 2 from the line for Darius Quisenberry. 18-15, Fordham in front by 3. Brantley at the top of the key for La Salle. Entry pass into the right block is Josius. He puts up the hook. It's too short, but he's fouled. Nowitzki picks up that foul. It's going to be his first. A guy who averages about 3.5 fouls per game can get into foul trouble, so that's something to watch out for, but that's his first foul there.
You have to find ways to keep him from getting into foul trouble. 4+ fouls in 16 games this year, so that's half your games. You are putting your team at risk with the foul, and he is somebody you want to attack if you're La Salle inside because of that number, and certainly Josius making a pay right now, draining the first.
Rokas Josius from Lithuania, the freshman, hits the first free throw. We'll have one more coming off 3 rebounds, a block, and a steal in just 10 minutes against Duquesne. And the second round, second free throw too strong. Quisenberry will collect it, passing it to Richardson, who will walk it up for Fordham. 9 minutes in the first half, 18-16, Fordham in front by 2. Bounce pass to Moore at the extended left block. Now bounce pass into the left block. It's Nowitzki. Nowitzki spins in the paint with the left hand, misses the layup, but gets his own miss. The putback is no good as well. Too strong there. Nickelberry the other way for La Salle. Here's Gill at the right wing. Anwar Gill dribbling with the left. Bounce pass to Josius at the extended right block. He puts up a jump shot and hits it. 18-18. We're all tied up. 8:30 first half.
Josius with now up to 5 points in this game. Has 3 total points in the 2 games before this, so anything you got from him, you would have taken, and he's exceeded those expectations.
Richardson dribbling with the left at the top of the key. Now lobs it to Nowitzki at the perimeter. Quisenberry at the left arc. Angling towards the top of the key as well. Bounce pass Moore at the left wing. Moore driving into the lane. Pump fakes at the right block, spins, puts it up, in and out. Just missed the floater. Nickelberry the other way for La Salle. Has it at the right wing. Dishing it off to Gill, who traveled. 8:07 first half. We're tied at 18.
La Salle 5 for their last 5 from the field, so Fordham will certainly take that one. Try to slow them down a bit. You saw once again getting the rebound off the Cleveland miss. They're pushing in transition, so they're not afraid to test the waters right now. Unfortunately, when you play that fast, sometimes it's going to bite you, and it did right there. Turnover by Gill.
Well, under 8 minutes in this first half. The first half flying by here between Fordham and La Salle in the A10 quarterfinals. We're tied up at 18. Quisenberry at the left wing. Hesitates now at the free throw line. Picks up his dribble, passing out Richardson. Richardson splitting a double team as it knocked away, but Quisenberry's got it in the near corner. Richardson, right arc for 3. It's good. Will Richardson, 21-18. Fordham up 3, 7:30 first half.
So nice to see if you're Fordham. 3 of the last 4 games, Will Richardson without a 3-pointer. So unlike him. So to see him in this big of a game get it going with a steal right there.
And now he intercepts the pass the other way with the steal. It's pinned off the backboard, but looks like it might be goaltending. And it is. So the basket counts for Will Richardson off the steal to make this 23-18. Fordham in front of La Salle with 7:26 in this first half. We're going back to the third member of our crew, Mike Calamari.
Sam, the message to this Fordham basketball team all year long, it's been about defense. And what Coach Ergo tells his team, wear them out over the course of the full 40 minutes. La Salle team coming into this game, having already played 2 games. Fordham, they're known for defense. And Coach, he's telling them, wear them out, try to get them to try to tire by the end of this game and play the hard defense they've known to play all season long. And for Fordham, if they do that, it's going to be a good product.
23-18. Fordham in front of LaSalle. 7:26 here in this first half, and we saw that offense and then immediately defense for Fordham. That's what they do best. LaSalle goes on a little bit of a run, like you mentioned, 5 for their last 5 from the field, but then immediately after that, Fordham is able to take back a 5-point lead themselves.
How about Will Richardson, a 5-0 run in a matter of seconds? I think he scored 5 points in under 10 seconds. I'm finishing up talking about the 3. Suddenly he's a steal. He's already in the backboard, putting the layup in. That's what's so nice to see about the freshman. That's the buy-in. He could drill that 3. He could celebrate, get back in transition. But no, he's going to bring the defense right away, times that pass perfectly, and puts it in for 2 to give Fordham a 5-point lead.
And Will Richardson must like playing LaSalle, because last time out he had 19 points against them. He already has 7 points here in this one. A guy who averages 6 points per game, a highly touted recruit coming into Fordham, 4-star recruit, second highest in team history. There was a lot of expectations around him. You could say he potentially underperformed a little to start the year, but he's hit his stride and he's finding a lot of success. He's a lot more confident on the floor, and you can tell every time he steps out there.
You know, Sam, you look at the 6 points per game and you may not think much of it, but that doesn't tell the full story. This is the guy who had to earn his way into the rotation. The game before LaSalle lost him out versus Dayton, he showed something. 11 points in that one, so he gets inserted into the starting lineup. Puts up 19, leading scorer in a huge win there. The only game since then he hasn't started was senior day. So he's earned his opportunity. A big-time three-point shooter, the best on this team at nearly 40% for the season. And as he grows, you talked about that, the confidence that he showed, the daringness. He's going to pull up from 3 if you give him an inch. That's something we didn't see at the beginning of the year. He is certainly one of the most improved Rams throughout the season.
23-18, Fordham up by 5. They've led for the majority of this first half, as LaSalle had a 3-point lead in the first minute and a half, but Fordham has been in front, but not by a lot. It's been LaSalle hanging right in there, and that's what you expected out of. They're not a typical 11 seed like you talked about, Ryan. This team has a lot of fight. They have a lot of momentum. They're coming off a couple of big wins, including one over a 6 seed in Duquesne.
And that's a team. We saw Fordham beat them down at Roseville Gym, but that's something we saw throughout the year. They had a ton of talent. They were number 1 in the conference in three-point shooting. You wouldn't have been able to tell versus LaSalle. In that second half, they held them to just 31% from the field.
Prickus dribbling at the A10 logos. We're back underway with LaSalle moving right to left, 23-18, Fordham in front. Gill splitting a double team, driving into the paint, passing it to Josius right under the basket, and Nowitzki meets him at the rim and blocks it. And a foul off of that block. Rostik Nowitzki staying strong defensively. Fordham 23, LaSalle 18, 7:06 first half.
You know, Samil gets all the credit as the shot blocker, but Nowitzki's no slouch either. He's up to 3 in this game. They're testing him inside, and he's making LaSalle credit.
Fordham first in the A10 in blocks. They're 22nd in the NCAA in that category. Very talented shot blocking team. Goes along with the tough physical defense that Coach Ergo preaches to his team, as Richardson will walk it up for Fordham. Dribbling with the left at the A10 logo, lobbing it to Nowitzki at the top of the key. Handing off Quisenberry. Quisenberry now at the right elbow, now hesitates and drives. A nice dribble drive for Darius Quisenberry, 25-18, Fordham in front.
Sometimes it's about taking what the defense gives you. He saw an ability to just drive around right there, gets the basket at ease, and he took the 2 easy points.
Quisenberry 1 for 4 from the field, has 3 points in this one. As Shepard has it in the near corner for 3, it's off the front of the rim, too short. Quisenberry will push it the other way for the Rams. Surging to the basket with the right hand, another layup. 27-18, and a timeout by Coach Dunphy, and Coach Ergo is firing up the student section as he stands near the free throw line there as he meets with his team. Fordham with a couple of quick baskets, a 9-0 run now over the last minute and a half.
That's what's most impressive. This is a quick run right now. In an instant, Fordham takes this game over just a bit. You mentioned Coach Ergo. He's pleaded all week. Students, please show up. You saw the ticket price. It was $20. Ed Cole pays to make it just $10, and they responded, showing up to this game, giving the team energy that's been reflective, especially over this 9-0 run.
And Ryan, not just the student section, but looking around at the Barclays Center as a whole, it's the fullest that I've seen it. Definitely from the game we saw earlier today, and I would say for the entire tournament, the crowds have shown up in support of their New York team, the Fordham Rams, and they've been able to control the lead here, 27-18. They're now in that lead by 9 points. Quisenberry quickly up to 7 points himself. Kyle Rose with 7, and Will Richardson with 7 also.
You mentioned the crowd, and you look around, you see a yellow dot every now and then. That reminds you, both teams aren't maroon in this one. This is a complete Fordham takeover, it's been at Barclays Center for a while now, but it hasn't really mattered until this year. This is the first time that Fordham has responded, and frankly, it's because the team gave them a reason to do so.
Nickelberry will pass it in to Gill, who will bring it up for the Explorers. 6:20 first half. Off the timeout there from La Salle and Coach Dunphy. Dribbling with the right, Gill at the top of the key. Crossover move. Drives and puts up the runner, but it's too strong. Khalid Moore snatches down the rebound, and he's fouled. That one will go against Anwar Gill after the miss. And Fordham will inbound on the baseline.
Coming out of a timeout, that is not what you want to see if you're LaSalle. Frustration cannot be boiling over, Sam. There's too much time left in this game to get in your own head.
Richardson will walk it up for the Rams. Under 6 minutes in the first half. 27-18, Fordham in front. Lobbing it to Simbiel at the right wing. Handing off Quisenberry. Top of the key for three. In and out, just missed. And Moore trying to grab the rebound, but there is Shepard for LaSalle. Deshaun Shepard will pass it to Fusini Drame at the right wing. Drame spins, looking to back down Will Richardson. Passing it out, it's Gill at the right wing. Gill thought about a three, now takes it and misses it. Rose, good box out, he grabs the rebound. Rose dribbling with the right. Skip pass to Quisenberry in the far corner. He looks to drive at the left block. Now passing it off to Moore at the left elbow, kicking it out Quisenberry left wing. Quisenberry off high screen, Simbila. Through the legs dribble. Will try another three. Too strong. Shepard climbs up the ladder and gets the rebound, and he's fouled. That's going to go against Kyle Rose.
And sometimes that aggressiveness for Kyle Rose, and it works out more than not, but sometimes it does bite him and Fordham. Certainly an unnecessary foul to pick up right there, just going a little too greedy, trying to tip that ball out of LaSalle's hands.
LaSalle 0 points in the last 3.5 minutes. Fordham playing excellent defense, and they lead 27-18 with 5:15 in the first half. Brickus will inbound on the baseline, passing it in to Gill. On the near sideline, he will walk it up over half court. Passing it into the near corner, Shepard. Now right back to Gill, right back to Shepard. In the near corner, open for three, back rim. Quisenberry taps the rebound to Simbila. And now Charlton the other way. At the right wing, hesitates, now kicks it out. Quisenberry top of the key. He will direct traffic there, holding the ball at his hip. Jab step, still has it, dribbling with the left. Hesitates, now drives, into the left block. Spins, kicks it out. Gray, he takes a right arc three off the side of the rim. Simbila is able to grab the offensive rebound. Quisenberry passing it, Rose, far corner for three. That one's too strong. Rebounded by Shepard. He passes it into Brantley for LaSalle. 4:30 first half, 27-18. Fordham still in front. It's now a 4-minute scoring drought for the Explorers. Brantley top of the key. Now at the left wing. Through the legs dribble. Steps back, crossover. Guarded by Simbila at the left elbow. Bounce pass out to Gill at the right wing. Gill through the legs dribble. Attacks the basket. And one. Anwar Gill with the floater plus the foul. 27-20. LaSalle breaks their scoring drought. It's a 7-point gain. Gill will look at to make it 6 at the free throw line.
They needed that one badly, Sam. 4 minutes without a basket right there, and Anwar Gill, that's his game. He loves getting to the rack right there. Was denied a bit, but it's because of the foul. He's able to fight through the contact, get the shot to go, and the foul.
Anwar Gill at 11 points and 5 rebounds last time against Fordham. Free throws also good. Makes it 27-21 with 4:10 in the first half. Charlton will dribble with the right and walk it over half court. Couple of screens at the top of the key. Charlton at the right wing. Passing it to Elijah Gray, who lobs it in the paint. Simbila underneath the basket and is fouled. Simbila got good positioning in the paint there and draws the foul. And that will lead us to a timeout. 3:57 left in this first half. Fordham 27, LaSalle 21. We're going to go back to the Bronx for the Rose Hill Studios for the one-on-one scoreboard with Nick Guzman.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
Today is college basketball conference tournament mania with tons of action going on all day, all across the country. We'll start things off in the A10, where St. Louis, VCU, and Dayton all punch their ticket to the semifinals today. That sets up St. Louis versus VCU in one semifinal, while Dayton awaits the winner of Fordham and LaSalle. In the Big East quarterfinals, UConn topped Providence 73-66, while Marquette survived an overtime thriller against St. John's 72-70. DePaul are up on Xavier 53-40 in the second half, and Creighton and Villanova will tip off tonight at 9:30. Over to Big Ten second round action, where Rutgers advanced to a quarterfinal matchup against Purdue with a 62-50 win over Michigan. Ohio State defeated Iowa 73-69, and Penn State have hopped in front of Illinois 60-56 in the second half. Minnesota and Maryland will meet tonight at 9. Out in the Big 12, the 10th-ranked Baylor Bears were upset by Iowa State 78-72. Kansas defeated West Virginia 78-61, and Texas leads Oklahoma State 42-26 in the second half. Tonight at 9:30, TCU and Kansas will square off. Our last college hoop stop is back east in the ACC quarterfinals, where Duke slammed Pitt 96-69, and UMiami squeezed past Wake Forest 74-72. Battling right now are UNC and Virginia, with Virginia currently on top 41-35 in the second half. Clemson and NC State will finish things off tonight at 9:30. On the ice, it's a busy night for Tri-State hockey. The Devils are even with the Capitals 1-1. The Rangers are tied with the Canadiens 2-2, and the Islanders trail the Penguins 3-1. All of those games are in the second period. Lastly, in local NBA action, the Bucks have a narrow lead over the Nets in the first, while the Knicks are on the West Coast in Sacramento to take on the Kings at 10. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Nick Guzman.
Welcome back to the Barclays Center. Sam Davis and Ryan Gregoire with WFUV Sports. Fordham 27, La Salle 21. Just 3:57 remaining in the first half. It's been a fast-moving first half here. And Fordham, a very balanced scoring attack. That's something we've seen all year long. Darius Quisenberry has led the team in scoring 15 times. Khalid Moore has led them 12 times. That's just kind of how this offense works. It's those two guys. But Khalid Moore, scoreless in this one. A lot of other names getting involved. Kyle Rose, in addition to Quisenberry and Will Richardson.
Going into this year, Coach Ergo talked about, he believes this is one of the deepest groups he's ever been around. So there's certainly no surprise to see it in this game. Khalid Moore, the second leading scorer, as he talked about, Sam, 0 for 2. He has made impact in other ways, 3 assists on the game, but Fordham has found other ways to score. It speaks volumes about their depth.
Simbila hits the first free throw. Makes it 28-21. Simbila at the free throw line here. He'll have one more. Spins the basketball off the back iron. Second free throw no good. So 1 of 2 from the line. 3:50 first half. Fordham 28, La Salle 21. Brantley passing it to Gill at the left wing. Gill drives, puts up the floater, too strong. Charlton snatches down the rebound. He will push it for Fordham. Passing it to Moore at the left wing. Moore looking to go to work on Foussini Drame. Has it knocked away, but passing into the corner. Charlton driving to the right block. Now it's Moore, top of the key for 3. Back iron. Rebounded by Foussini Drame for La Salle. 28-21. 3:20 first half.
Fordham now 0 for their last 5 from 3. They've had a chance to open this game up with some good looks from beyond the arc, but they haven't gotten any to fall.
Gill at the left wing. Bounce pass underneath the basket, looking for Hassan Drame, but a bad pass. The ball rolls out of bounds, and it's off of La Salle. Fordham will take possession.
Bad pass, but a great job by Khalid Moore. Sticking like him on glue right there. Wouldn't let him get to the lane. Miscommunication from La Salle, and Fordham takes over.
Charlton will walk it up for the Rams. Passing it to Quisenberry at the left wing. Has it knocked away by Brickett's out of bounds, but Fordham will keep possession. Jameer Brickus has had a great A10 tournament so far. 18 points against URI in the first round and 23 points against Duquesne in round number 2. But he's been held quiet so far in this first half. Only 4 points as Rose passing it in the far sideline to Moore. Charlton at the top of the key. Angling towards the right wing. Dribbling with the left. Passing it Nowitzki. Driving the left block, now kicks it out in the far corner. Rose fakes a 3, drives to the paint, misses the layup. Nowitzki tried to tip up the rebound to himself, couldn't. Knocked away, and here goes Brantley for La Salle. Handing it off to Gill. Gill passing into the far corner. Hassan Drame offside rim for 3. It's no good. 28-21. Fordham still up by 7. 2:30 first half.
That moves La Salle to 0 for 5 from beyond the arc. Fordham's done a great job of letting who they want for the Explorers take the 3.
Quisenberry passing it to Moore at the top of the key. Passing it into paint. Now it's Nowitzki at the A10 logo. Looks to go to work, and he's fouled. Fell to the deck there beneath the basket. But Nowitzki will head to the free throw line as Fordham does not have a field goal in the past 4 minutes, but they still lead by 7 as they've done a good job on the defensive side of the ball, limiting La Salle. They're 1 for their last 8.
Nice job there from Nowitzki, using his size to get inside, get the foul to go his way. Last year, you go back to the quarterfinals, he was the best Ram in that game. 18 points versus Davidson. Really showed his skill set on full display right there. If Fordham get anything like that in this game, they will absolutely take it.
Rostik Nowitzki airballs the first free throw. A 66% free throw shooter on the season, but sometimes has some trouble at the line. He's done that before. He does that here.
Yeah, Sam, when they miss for him, they really miss. And you saw it right there with the air ball.
28-21. Fordham, a very good free throw shooting team. They're first in the A10, 75% as the team. Second free throw from Nowitzki rolls in. And a loud cheer from the student section there, supporting their big man after air ball on the first one. It's 29-21, Fordham up by 8 with now under 2 minutes to play in the first half. Brantley dribbling with the left, passing in the near corner. Hassan Drame tries another three. It's an air ball. Quisenberry will walk it up for Fordham at the top of the key. Passing Rose, left arc, open for three off the back of the rim. Brantley comes down with a miss. He will push it. La Salle out and running, passing it to Hassan Drame at the right block. The layup rolls in. 29-23, a minute 40 first half.
Drame getting it done right there. 8 points, 9 rebounds last time out. Attacking inside. Both these teams in this drought, they're trying to take threes, Sam. That's neither of their game. Fordham, when they went on that run, it was Darius Quisenberry on the drive. Others attacking inside. They've gone away from that recently, and it's led to some struggles.
Moore, top of the keys, open for three. Banks it in. Fordham in the lead, 32-23, a minute 15 first half.
That's a way to silence the doubters right there. The bank wide open for Khalid Moore.
Shepard passing it to Brantley at the left wing. He looks to drive. Spinning in the paint at the A10 logo. Dishing it off to Hassan Drame at the right block. He has it blocked by Nowitzki. And a foul going against La Salle. Nowitzki's been a presence in the paint in this first half. Fordham up 32-23, 1 minute remaining in the first half.
That gives him 4 blocks, and his ability not only block that shot, but to come down with the rebound after being in the air, get the foul to go against a frustrated Drame right there. His interior presence in this game, probably a reason why you've seen La Salle try to stretch from beyond the arc, taking threes, because he's allowed nothing inside.
Nowitzki will be back at the line and looks to give Fordham their largest lead of the day, which would be 10 points as they lead by 9 with exactly a minute left. First free throw is too short. It was a 1-and-1 as Fordham was in the bonus, so still a 9-point lead for the Rams. Under a minute to play. Brickus at the top of the key, dribbling with the right crossover move. Driving into the paint, now kicks out in the near corner. Gill for three, offside rim. La Salle can't hit from behind the arc once again. Fordham up 32-23, 40 seconds first half, and it looks like it'll be a timeout for the Rams as Quisenberry advances it over half court. So an opportunity for Fordham, maybe a 2-for-1 here. They would have to score quickly as there's 39.7 seconds on the game clock and 24 seconds on the shot clock.
No surprise, because this has been Fordham basketball all year. They'll always use that timeout down the stretch, an opportunity, potential to go 2-for-1, but even if not, to set your defense up, set your offense up, know exactly what you want to do. It's been an overall a positive first half for Fordham. You've survived a stretch where you're 1 for your last 8. Make it count here, go into halftime with even more momentum.
Yeah, Fordham shot 27% from behind the arc in the first half, but La Salle on the other side of things, even colder. They're 0 for 7 from 3. They've had open looks. They've been able to find open looks by driving to the basket, but just really haven't gotten any of them to fall.
And just 9 for 28 for the game. That's not just from 3, 0 for 7 from 3, but they're not shooting it well from 2 either. That's been very important for Fordham. You look at La Salle, KenPom, they're 303rd in the nation in 2 percentage. So certainly it's not their bread and butter, but Fordham's done a good job exposing it and not letting it become a positive.
It should be noted that La Salle trailed by 6 at halftime against Duquesne in the second half. They were able to come back in that one. They trailed by 8 against Fordham the first time these two teams matched up, and they came back and actually took the lead in that game before Fordham was able to come out with the 2-point victory on the Charlton game-winning jumper. Fordham hopes to make a win here today a little bit easier as Charlton bounce pass into Moore at the left block, now passing it out. It's Quisenberry at the top of the key, holding it at his hip. 32-23, Fordham up 9. 30 seconds on the game clock, 15 in the shot clock. They'll let the time run down here as Quisenberry dribbling with the right at the A10 logo. Now working towards the right wing. Steps back. Looks to step into a three, but instead passes it off. Charlton left arc. He's open for three. Way too strong off the backboard. No rim there. And Brantley will come down with it. Shot clock is off. 10 seconds remaining in the first half. Brantley at the right wing. Shakes and bakes. Spits a double team, but Nowitzki flies through for the block. Brantley looked to save it out of bounds. He dives into the bench, but it's off of La Salle. Another block for Nowitzki. 3.3 seconds remaining in this first half. 32-23, Fordham in front.
Make it 5 for him, and that wasn't his man. He did a great job coming back behind, spinning, throwing his hand up, and getting the block.
It's going to be Charlton inbounding on the far sideline for Fordham. Holding it over his head, looking to pass it in. Passing it long to Khalid Moore, who catches it. Drives towards the basket. The two-handed dunk at the buzzer. What a play from Khalid Moore. An exclamation point as the Rams go into halftime with a 34-23 lead.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Khalid Moore throwing some fire down, going into half. All the momentum, Fordham swinging the direction.
34-23, the Rams lead by 11 at halftime in the Atlantic 10 quarterfinals. We're going to go to the Rose Hill Studios for the one-on-ones halftime report with Lou Orlando.
The one-on-one halftime report.
Welcome back to the one-on-one halftime report. Lou Orlando joined by Nick Guzman. Fordham leading La Salle 34-23, and how about that for a first half of basketball? I think that's the half that Fordham wanted to come out and play. You saw good defense. You saw relatively consistent offense throughout for Fordham. Nick, just overall thoughts?
A great half for Fordham. Not shooting the ball as well as they probably would hope, but they're getting to the free throw line, and they've really contained La Salle defensively. We talked before the game, you and I, Lou, about just how important Fordham's defense was going to be in this game, and they've showed up, holding La Salle to just 23 first half points.
Well, you talk about the defense. I think that's been the big key, and no surprise that Fordham has kind of built their game plan and just their overall game around that. And the big thing you saw Ryan and Sam talk about it throughout that first half, not allowing any threes. And it's not just good perimeter defense, right? It's that scouting report, letting certain players shoot the three and closing out other players. 0 for 7 from 3 for La Salle, and that's a huge part of their game plan. To hold them to that is a huge part of why they jumped out of that lead in the first half.
Will Richardson, on the offensive side for Fordham, Will Richardson's done well, 3 of 4 shooting there. Fordham, you'd like to see them maybe make more shots offensively, but, you think about what this Fordham team is, and they're a team that's built to play good defensive basketball, and a team that, if they can knock down shots on the offensive end, are going to win most of the games they play in the Atlantic 10. They have done that game plan so far, defensively, really locking down La Salle and their stars. So from that vantage point, holding La Salle to 9 of 29 shooting, 31%, 0 for 7 from 3. Fordham's only 3 of 12 from 3, but that's 25% from 3. Not great, but Fordham defensively, they can keep clamping on La Salle the way they've been doing. They're going to win this game.
I think it's clear when you play like this, you don't need to necessarily be lights out from 3. And it was fun to watch Fordham the way they played offensively. It was kind of a game of 3 different runs, and you look at the way the scoring is distributed. It's a 3-way tie for the game lead with 7 points, and it was at first Kyle Rose who got off to that scoring run, and then you saw Will Richardson pop off, and then finally DQ. And the big thing for me at the end of that half is Khalid Moore starts to get going, and that was something where you looked up almost at the end of the second half. Khalid Moore's got 0 points, and he's probably been your most electric scorer down the stretch. To have him hit that 3, yes, it banks in, still counts, man. And then to have that slam dunk at the end of the first half, right? That's a guy that if he gets going, you really feel like you could put this game in the back mirror.
Lou, we're watching this game, on TV. We're listening to the guys call it on the radio, but you can hear how loud the Barclays Center is with that Fordham crowd. Fordham has traveled well. We talked about it before the game. And that kind of energy is going to make it really, really hard for La Salle to try and get back in this game in the second half. Fordham students, the Fordham crowd can keep this energy up, and Fordham can keep the intensity going. Defensively, it might be a long road back in the second half for La Salle.
I mean, we've seen the way the Fordham crowd gets up for just regular season games. This is the A10 quarterfinals, so I think no surprise the TV broadcast keeps showing all the Fordham fans. There's Fordham fans behind both hoops, and they're just going nuts. I think you're seeing a bigger crowd than you would even see in Rose Hill, and it might not feel like it's packed out, right, because it's Barclays, but the lower bowl looks packed to the brim, and I think that's really, if you're out there and you're La Salle, that's what you feel because the lower bowl is right there.
Yeah, and it has a major impact. You would think the Barclays Center would be more of a cavernous venue, 18,000 seats. It's an NBA arena, but Fordham fans have made it loud. and they have made it a place that's tough to play. And if the Rams can just kind of keep doing what they've been doing in the second half, there are definitely things to clean up. The free throw shooting, just 3 of 8 shooting from the line. Fordham are going to get to the line. Their team that takes the ball to the hole a lot. They can knock down those free throws down the stretch once they get into the bonus and not let La Salle get back into this game. And the Rams are close, but it's a long half of basketball to go. Sam mentioned La Salle were down against Duquesne in their last game, and they came out firing in the second half. The Rams have to be prepared for that kind of onslaught.
Well, obviously a lot to break down, but we're actually going to send it back to the Barclays Center. Thomas Aiello sitting down with WFUV alum Tony Reali.
Thanks, Lou. Welcome to the one-on-one halftime report. Thomas Aiello and the Tony Reali from Around the Horn hanging out here on the halftime. Tony, I know, get right to the point, you were part of a couple of Fordham teams. They were pretty good in the early 2000s, late 90s, but I don't know if you've ever seen anything like this. What does it feel like to be young again?
This is the dream, Thomas. This is what you dream about when you go to a college, and this is what March Madness is about. I believe we had Michael Kay on the halftime show 2 weeks ago.
We did.
And he used a phrase that I use and many Fordham alum use, calling this program a sleeping giant. When you are the school in New York City, you are and can be this program that we see in front of us today. And it's taken 25 years in this conference for Fordham to awaken, but to have a quarter of the lower bowl students, another quarter alum, and then a third on top of that, interested fans wearing maroon. You're living the dream right now.
So, Tony, you mentioned 25 years. Now, in those 25 years, I know you do try to keep tabs. You're obviously a very busy man. Who was the best player that you've seen in those 25 years?
In my time, Maurice Curtis was a very strong power forward. Bevon Robbins' freshman year was a revelation, leading the conference in scoring. In later years, how could you not like what we did with Dunston and Stout through the years?
Yes, sir.
But this program right here has so much veteran leadership, so much maturity on the court. With Quisenberry and Moore and Kyle Rose, who's the most fundamentally sound player this program has had defensively, the A10 Defensive Player of the Year. There's a lot to like about what we have on the floor right now. There's no questions asked.
So, Tony, now you're giving all this analysis. It almost feels like you're back on the radio, but you actually did a Fordham game on WFUV a couple of years back. You came back to do play-by-play.
I went straight from muting Woody Page to Rose Thrill. And the arena for that game, and it was Fordham versus Manhattan in the Battle of the Bronx, we got half full. And that was something to be proud of at that time. The bar has been raised, expectation has changed, and this is a challenge to all Fordham students going forward. To see this type of energy at the Barclays Center, this is now a wow for all Fordham alum, but it needs to become the norm. This is a 5 to 10 point swing. You hear Keith Ergo talk about it all season, but we believe it. I'm sitting next to some of former Fordham players. I saw John Pugh and Kenny Aponte in the house tonight, who I covered when I was at Fordham. They never imagined that this would look like. Maybe in their dreams they thought. But to make this become the norm is the goal that is put on the table for everybody here.
Tony, one more question before we let you go. You talk about Keith Ergo. I know that in the Atlantic 10 with Fordham, there's been a number of coaches that have come through, Bob Hill, Derek Wittenberg, and so on and so on. But to have a guy like Keith Ergo, who not only students can really identify, but for someone like you to come to this sort of environment in the Barclays and to see him on those sidelines with the energy that he brings and the passion, how much of a breath of fresh air is it to you as an alum to see someone like that?
Keith Ergo deserves and has earned every accolade he has gotten this year to turn this program to where it is. I want to give a shout out to Nick McCarchuk in the 90s, the last Fordham coach to be Coach of the Year in the A10, who brought passion and brought a mentality to this program that is one that I see here now. The difference is when you operate with a commitment to a team like this now, where everybody knows every little thing is helping each other out. That's the elevation of the program. And Keith Ergo, he comes from a family. He's got 10 siblings, I believe, and he's brought that family mentality here, and that is the thing I'm most proud of. Fordham is a school, it's a sleeping giant. Fordham as a university is a family, New York's family, and if we, as a family, work together, we can take 3 games here and find our way into the NCAA tournament.
Well, Tony Reali, a Fordham man through and through. Catch him on Around the Horn at ESPN with his various hosts. Tony, as always, we appreciate the time.
And as I always say, we send a few players to the pros every year. They're always holding a microphone. I'm so proud of the job you guys are doing at WFUV. Thomas, Sam, Ryan on this call, and all the calls in the future. You do us proud, and I am immensely proud of you guys.
Tony Reali, thank you so much. We're going to throw it back to our Rose Hill studios. You're listening to Fordham Men's Basketball on WFUV Sports.
Welcome back to the Halftime Report. I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to send it over to my man Nick Guzman with the one-on-one scoreboard update.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
It's a huge day in the world of college basketball with conference tournament action happening all day nonstop. We'll start off in the A10 quarterfinals where St. Louis defeated George Mason 82-54, VCU topped Davidson 71-53, and Dayton got the better of St. Joe's 60-54. That sets up St. Louis versus VCU in one semifinal, while Dayton awaits the winner of Fordham and La Salle in the other. Over to Big Ten second round action where Rutgers advanced to a quarterfinal matchup against Purdue with a big win over Michigan. Ohio State defeated Iowa 73-69, and Penn State have put some distance between themselves and Illinois in the second half, leading 74-68. Minnesota and Maryland will meet tonight at 9. In the Big East quarterfinals, UConn and Marquette advanced to the semis with wins over Providence and St. John's, respectively. DePaul are up on Xavier 61-56 in the second half, and Creighton and Villanova will tip off tonight at 9:30. Out in the Big 12, the 10th-ranked Baylor Bears were upset by Iowa State 78-72 earlier today. Kansas defeated West Virginia 78-61, and Texas leads Oklahoma State 46-30 in the second half. Then at 9:30, TCU and Kansas will square off. Our last stop on the collegiate hardwood will be in the ACC, where Duke dominated Pitt 96-69, and UMiami survived against Wake Forest 74-72. Battling right now are UNC and Virginia, with Virginia leading 54-47 over halfway through the second half. Clemson and NC State will finish things off tonight at 9:30. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Nick Guzman.
Once again, Fordham, after one half of play in the Atlantic 10 quarterfinals, a 34-20 lead over number 11 seed La Salle. And, while we've got a couple minutes, Nick, you look at that first half and starting to think about going into the second half, what are the keys that Fordham needs to take into that second half?
The keys going into the second half, Fordham have to keep the same intensity defensively, and they have to keep it, and they have to do it. Because if they take their foot off the pedal a little bit, La Salle's a team that's played, 3 games in 3 days. They're going to tire. So if Fordham keeps up that same defensive intensity, I don't think La Salle will be able to keep up. So for the Rams, it's about pressing. It's about not letting La Salle breathe, because 3 games in 3 days is tough on any team. In the first half, you might not see the effects of that, but late in the second, you're going to start to see that Fordham is the team that got the double bye, and La Salle are the team that have played a lot of basketball in these last couple days. So for Fordham, it's about keeping up the intensity and not letting La Salle get an opportunity to get back in this game, because Fordham haven't been great, offensively. They've made some shots they needed to. They've got some good scoring from Will Richardson. Khalid Moore's woken up. But on the defensive side of the ball, it's got to stay just as good as it was in that first half.
Something we highlighted at the beginning of the game, kind of closing on that big three, Brickus and Nickelberry. You've held Brickus to 4 points. You've held Nickelberry. He has no points. Brantley has 5. So you wonder if that's sustainable. The way Fordham plays defense, I think that it is. And you do look at that 11-point lead and you go, hey, that's not a lead that we can be comfortable about. Anytime you play a team like La Salle that can turn it on from 3, that's always dangerous. But if Fordham plays the way they did in the first half, I don't think they really have any issues. And I think that's really going to do it here for our halftime report. Once again, Fordham ahead of La Salle, 34-23. We're going to send it back to the guys at Barclays Center. So Sam and Ryan, take it away.
Back here at the Barclays Center. Thank you very much, Lou Orlando, for the halftime report there. 2:50 before we get back underway here in the second half. It's Fordham 34 and La Salle 23. After one half, Rams in the lead by 11. It was a game where, for the majority of that first half, they were in the lead, but they're able to extend it in the final couple of minutes there. And, right before we went to the halftime show, quite a dunk from Khalid Moore to really put an exclamation point in that first half.
Sam, I was halfway out my seat and getting ready to go to the bathroom for the second half, and Khalid Moore comes out of nowhere, goes 75% of the court, slams that one home. It shows his athleticism to get up the court in just 3 seconds. And it was a perfect way to end the first half for Fordham, and especially for Moore, who've been relatively quiet, just 3 points before that dunk. Really, the one area he looks at the box score, he was the guy we're looking to get going. If that's any sign of things to come in the second half, Fordham's in a very good spot.
Will Richardson with 7 points, Darius Quisenberry with 7 points, and Kyle Rose with 7 points for Fordham. It's been a balanced scoring attack like we talked about. Meanwhile, for La Salle, they've been able to hold Jameer Brickus to just 4 points in that first half. In addition to their leading scorer, Khalil Brantley, he has just 5. It's been a frustrating half for La Salle shooting the basketball. We talked about it, 0 for 7 from 3, just 31% from the floor. A drastic change from the first 2 games of the year where they were shooting upwards in the 40% range. But today, they've been stifled, at least in the first 20 minutes, by the Fordham defense.
Brickus and Brantley in that game lost them out. Nearly 50% from the field, 45 combined points. And in this game, they're shooting just 30% from the field. Fordham's done a great job on those 2 guards, living up to their billing as a defensive-first team. We saw early success from La Salle. Fordham neutralized it, went on an own sluggish roll, but Fordham really found their groove at the end of the half right there, up 11 in a great spot, because it feels like, Sam, that wasn't the best 20 minutes of Fordham basketball that we've seen, and to end that half still up 11 with a lot to be desired, it puts you in a great opportunity to advance to the semifinals.
You mentioned not the best basketball for Fordham. They did shoot just 3 of 12 from behind the arc. Had a number of open looks as well that they just couldn't get to fall, so we'll see if that changes in half number 2. And I talked about it a little bit before halftime. La Salle has come back from deficits before in this A10 tournament. They did it last night. So if you're Fordham, how do you maintain this lead? How do you hold off La Salle for the final 20 minutes and book your spot in the semifinals?
Well, how they did it last night was energy. They out-hustled Duquesne that entire final 20 minutes. They got every loose ball. They got every second chance. They pushed it up and down the court. What works well in Fordham's favor is their energy first. That's not something you're going to do. You're not going to out-hustle Fordham. So if Fordham's able to keep it ugly from beyond the arc, La Salle 0 for 7 and not 1 made 3 in this second half, and keep their energy intensity up. That's how you stifle La Salle and don't let them do what they've done throughout this tournament, come back from down at halftime.
34-23, Fordham up by 11. Happens to be their largest lead of the game. La Salle did lead in this game, but it was just about a minute and a half into it. They've only led by 3 as Antrell Charlton looks to inbound on the near sideline. Looks like actually some of the television equipment stuck on that near sideline. They're trying to move it out of the way, and we're trying to get back underway here in half number 2. Charlton eagerly waiting for the basketball.
Yeah, you can tell the Fordham Rams, they're ready to go. They want to get to this 20 minutes of basketball, and it looks like we're finally going to get underway.
Everything cleared off the court here at the Barclays Center. 20 minutes separates the Fordham Rams and the A10 semifinals. As it's passed into Richardson, with Fordham moving right to left in the second half. They'll be shooting into the student section here in Brooklyn, with La Salle moving left to right. Nowitzki pivots at the right elbow. He has it poked away and stolen by Hassan Drame. He passes it to Brickus at the right wing. He drives baseline, hangs in the air, but misses the layup. Moore comes down with the board. Moore passing it to Richardson. First minute of play. Lobbing it into the paint, Nowitzki, and he stepped out of bounds. His foot was on the baseline. A good pass there, but just a little too strong on it. And it's a turnover for Fordham.
In the entire first half, Fordham did a great job taking care of the basketball. Just 2 total turnovers in 30 seconds here, Sam. They've matched that total.
34-23, Fordham up 11. Just about a minute into this second half, as Brickus dribbles through the legs, now crossover at the right wing. He drives all the way into the paint, now dishes it off to Corey with an easy floater there for 2. And the first points of the second half belong to the Explorers. It's now 34-25, 19 minutes for the second half.
Nice job from DeCory right there, up to 4 points in this game. You saw Rostin Nowitzki just a split second late, something we didn't talk about previewing the second half. He's 5 blocks in this game. He's been fantastic down low.
More into the far corner. Richardson for 3. It's in and out, just missed. And Hassan Drame comes down with the rebound. La Salle's come out firing. They forced 2 turnovers, and they have a basket early on in the first minute. Brantley, crossover move, steps inside for a long 2, and he hits it. He drills the jumper. It's now 34-27. 4 quick points for La Salle, 18-30 second half.
Brantley just 1 for 5 in that first half. Certainly you look at this team, he is the one guy you don't want to get hot in this one.
Richardson bounce pass to Moore at the right block. Underneath the basket, pump fakes. Now looks to find Quisenberry in the paint. He goes to the ground and a timeout. As Quisenberry was trapped on the ground there underneath the basket. He was able to get that timeout, but in the first minute and a half of this second half, La Salle has come out fighting. It's 34-27. Forced a couple of turnovers. They have a couple of points, and this is kind of proving what we talked about at halftime and what the guys back in the studio talked about as well. An 11-point lead, but certainly not a big one, and something that La Salle could work their way back into. They're proving that already here.
Right off the bat, they showed that energy that we talked about for them being able to neutralize it. But with 2 turnovers, I love that timeout by Coach Ergo. Darius Quisberry nearly made it 3 in just a quick 90 seconds here. So it's time to regather if you're Fordham. Definitely not the best minute and a half start for the Rams, but fortunately they built up enough of a lead to where it doesn't hurt them too much, still up 7 on the scoreboard.
And still a lot of time in this second half, and Coach Ergo will be talking to his team. Coming out of halftime, usually Fordham is very aggressive, and they usually have strong starts to the second half. They usually are slow starting off games, but it's kind of been a reverse story here in this one today, as Fordham got off to a hot start, built that lead, but then La Salle coming out of halftime, they're able to work back, and we'll see what comes out of this timeout here with 18-22 in the second half, and Fordham in the lead by 7.
Fordham, they have to keep playing their basketball because this is a team that they haven't wavered throughout the season. Even in the struggles, they've been so adamant on continuing to put the path forward that they have built. They don't deviate away from the game plan, so you can't let this minute and a half blip on the radar potentially affect those plans.
Fordham has led for 16 minutes of the game so far. The majority of that first half. La Salle led for just 2 minutes, shooting 45% in the first half and 43% in the game so far here today. But a quick couple of baskets for La Salle, and it's been their guys, Jameer Brickus and Khalil Brantley, were able to create opportunities by driving into the lane and then dishing and finding other guys. And while they haven't been able to dish out for threes that they've been able to hit, although they've been open, they've been able to find Ducore in the paint or Drame in the paint or whatever it may be to get some easy layups. And that's how La Salle is really going to quickly work their way back in this one.
That's exactly how you beat Fordham as well. In the half-court defense, they'll go up against anyone. Fordham's not afraid of anything. You got to be tricky. You got to have motion. You got to get guys off-ball screens, set up mismatches. La Salle, that's what they look to do. They were successful early in this game doing that when they went off to that good start. They went away from it a bit. If they want to be successful in the second half, it's back to more of that.
Both teams back out onto the court here as Quisenberry fell to the deck and called a timeout to talk things over with Coach Ergo and his team. So the Rams will have it. It's going to be Charlton inbounding on the baseline underneath his basket. He gets the ball from the referee. Looks to pass it in, holds it over his head, and throws a long pass to Moore, who catches it at the left arc. Immediately driving in the paint, but kicks it out, but an offensive foul. Moore doesn't like the call as he looks around, trying to see where that one was, but maybe a little bit of a lowered shoulder there from Khalid Moore, and La Salle will have it.
You talk for a minute. That's not what you want to drop. Coming out of that timeout, an immediate turnover.
34-27. Fordham in the lead. 18 minutes, second half. Brickus at the top of the key. Hesitation move. The floater in the lane. Yes. Jameer Brickus makes it 34-29. La Salle trailing by just 5. Under 18 minutes, second half.
Great move right there. A second hesitation got Antrell Charlton in the air. He was able to combine 2 defenders and put it in.
Quisenberry at the top of the key, lobbing it into the left elbow. It's Moore, faces up his defender, hangs in the air, and the layup's good. Fordham Rams are on the board in the second half. 36-29, 17-30 second half.
The patience in the air of Khalid Moore, we've seen it throughout this season. He can hang with the rest of him, waiting for his opportunity and capitalizing.
Brantley kicks it out to Ducore at the top of the key. Now it's right back to Brantley. He throws in the far corner. It's Ficini Drame with the 10-footer, and the jumper is good. 36-31, 17-15 second half as Charlton will walk it up for Fordham, passing it to Quisenberry at the right wing. A little bit of zone now for La Salle. It's like a 2-3 zone as Charlton passing it to DQ, top of the key, bounce pass at the free throw line. It's Moore. Moore spinning in the paint, but has it poked away and stolen by Hassan Drame. Brantley will lead it up the other way for the Explorers. At the top of the key, dribbling with the right, through the legs, steps into a three, and hits it. Khalil Brantley. And La Salle is within two, 36-34, 16-40, second half.
Whatever they designed coming out of halftime, it has worked and then some. They are in complete control of this second half.
Almost a steal there as Brickus tried to jump the passing lane, but he couldn't. A zone here is working for La Salle defensively. Moore backing down his defender, has it poked away again, diving to the floor. Ducore has it, handing it off to Hassan Drame. And another turnover for Fordham. La Salle will go the other way, 16-15, second half. Brantley, top of the key. La Salle can tie or take the lead as they trail by 2, 36-34. Hesitates, now drives, pinned off the backboard by Simbila. Quisenberry the other way, passing it to Charlton. Now Richardson in the near corner for three, in and out. Simbila flying in for the board, but it's off of his hands, out of bounds. 36-34, Fordham has seen their 11-point lead shrink to just 2. With 15:58 in this second half. And you're listening to Fordham Rams basketball on WFUV Sports.
Hi, this is Mike Breen, WFUV class of 1983. WFUV is the flagship station of Fordham Athletics with live coverage of Fordham football, Fordham men's and women's basketball, in addition to Saturday one-on-one. Stay right here on 90.7 FM for all things WFUV Sports.
Hey everyone, this is Darius Quisenberry, guard for your Fordham Rams. You can listen to us all season long over on 90.7 FM, WFUV Sports, and YouTube Live. WFUV Sports, the flagship station of Fordham Athletics.
Back at the Barclays Center, Sam Davis and Ryan Gregoire. It's Fordham 36 and La Salle 34. La Salle has trimmed that deficit. They trail by just 2. And we're going to check back in. The third member of our crew, Mike Calamari on the sidelines. Take it away, Mike.
And Sam, one of the big things, if you look at this second half, presence inside the paint. Coach Ergo, he's making a lot of substitution. Abdul Simbila checked in for Rostic Nowitzki. Nowitzki looked like he might be checking back in. He's trying to find the right player to play at that 5 position to establish that inside presence. You see constant communication on the bench to try to figure out what the best way is so they win the rebound battle and they're able to push it in transition. Back to you guys.
Fordham has seen that lead shrink like we talked about, 36-34, 15-58. Second half, both teams are walking back out onto the court. Here is Coach Ergo trying everything he can coming out of halftime, but it's evident that Coach Dunphy's made some serious adjustments for La Salle.
Particularly on the defensive end, because Fordham just 2 turnovers in that first half, and it seems like every other possession for the Rams is ending in a turnover right here. They have to be smarter with the basketball. When that double comes, you have to pass out. It seems like they've been caught off guard just a bit here in the second half. That needs to change quickly.
Hassan Drame will pass it in to Khalil Brantley, who will walk it up for Fordham. A little bit of half-court pressure for the Rams, but Brantley passing it to Hassan Drame in the near corner. Now it's Brickus at the right elbow. Has it poked away and stolen from behind by Quisenberry. Charlton comes down with it, passing it up to Rose at the left wing. Now Charlton top of the key. Now it's Moore at the right wing. He takes a 3 and drills it. 39-34, 15-30, second half.
Quiet first half for Khalid Moore. Now you look up at the scoreboard. He's the leading scorer for the Rams, up to 10 points in this one.
Brantley at the right wing has it poked away, but a foul. Quisenberry disappointed with that call. He thought he got all ball as he talks to the referee. 15-21 second half. Fordham up 39-34.
Nearly back-to-back possessions for Quizmer with excellent on-ball defense, reading the lane right there. Unfortunately, didn't get the call to go his way.
Brantley dribbling with the right, passing it to Brickus at the right wing, now top of the key. Brickus dribbling with the left, guarded by Rose. Now at the left wing. Brickus. Bounce pass underneath. It's Drame, and Nowitzki meets him at the rim. And a foul against La Salle. Nowitzki again with another block, 39-34. Fordham in the lead, 15:03 second half.
Just what we saw in the first half. That one may be the most impressive of the bunch because he hesitated. He jumped in the air originally, a great pump fake and dish inside to Drame. Nowitzki regathers, rises at the rim, and blocks the 6th one of the game.
I'm not sure if I'm seeing that number right. 6 blocks for Rostik Nowitzki, and still 15 minutes left in the game. 39-34, Fordham in front. Bounce pass from Charlton to Moore at the top of the key. Moore surges towards the basket, hesitates, drives, and has it blocked there by Josius, but Nowitzki comes down with it. Charlton at the left wing. The offensive rebound for the Rams. Entry pass looking for Moore, but it's a bad pass. Out of the outstretched reach from Moore, out of bounds. A turnover for Fordham. 14-39, second half. Fordham up 39-34.
Charlton a bit too loose with the basketball right there. That bounce pass inside to Moore didn't have enough on it, and they waste a second chance opportunity gathered by Rostik Nowitzki.
Brickus lobbing it to Brantley over half court for La Salle. They come out with a little zone pressure in the top of the front court, passing it off to Hassan Drame, whose three is short off the front of the rim. Rose with Fordham out and running at the top of the key. Swinging it along to Moore, steps into another three. That one's too short. Rebounded by Hassan Drame. 39-34, 14 minutes, second half. Brantley at the right wing. Couple of screens. Angling towards the left. Passing off to Hassan Drame, top of the key. Drame holding on to it. Passing to his brother Fusini Drame, now lobbing it into the right block. It's Josius, who barrels over Nowitzki, and a charge. Fordham will take it 13-52. They lead by 5.
It's not just the blocks in this game for Nowitzki. Even when he has been thetting, he's put excellent defense at the rim, that time with the body control, putting his body on the line, hitting the deck, and getting the foul to go his way to give Fordham the basketball.
39-34 with 13:52 in the second half. We've held La Salle to another scoring drought of about 3 minutes, as Charlton will walk it up slowly for Fordham. Over the half-court line. Dribbling with the right, at the top of the key. High screen from Moore. Now at the left wing. Charlton, through the legs dribble. Passing in the near corner, Rose. Rose holds it over his head. Now entry pass into Moore at the left block. Moore looks to drive baseline, and a foul on the floor. Going against. It's going to be Josius picking that one up for La Salle, as Moore fell to the ground on the baseline.
You go back to last game, Khalid Moore 9 for 10 from the free throw line. He did a great job of getting the contact to go his way. That time, a really smart move right there. He knew he wasn't going to be able to get completely inside, but he was able to flail his body in a position where there was no other call to make but a foul against the Explorers.
13:30 second half. Quisenberry at the baseline, lobbing it into Nowitzki at the free throw line, handing it off Quisenberry. Quisenberry starts and stops at the left block, passing it off. Nowitzki underneath the basket, kicks it out more, straight away for three, in and out. Rose tries to track down the offensive rebound, but it goes out of bounds off the baseline. 13-18 second half. Fordham 39, La Salle 34.
Fordham has held La Salle scoreless the last 3:30 in this game, but they haven't been able to capitalize. A 2-minute drought of their own. Khalid Moore missing a pair of great looks from beyond the arc.
Brickus dribbling with the right, lobbing it into Josius at the right wing. Now it's Brantley at that same spot. He drives towards the free throw line, bounce pass into Josius underneath the basket with the left hand, too strong on the layup. Rebounded by Rose. Quisenberry has it for Fordham. Under 13 minutes second half. Quisenberry starts and stops with the right hand, high off the glass but too strong. Didn't get any rim on that one. Brantley comes down with it. Brantley for La Salle pushing it. Steps into a long two, a 15-footer offside rim. Moore collects the board. Here's Moore dribbling with the right. Fires the pass into the far corner looking for Charlton, but it's out of bounds off of Fordham. Another turnover, 39-34. The Rams in the lead by 5, 12:44 second half.
Khalid Moore trying to do a bit too much right there. No reason to make that dangerous pass inside. He had Darius Quizmary to reset at the top of the key. Now, you look at Khalid Moore, season-high 6 assists last time out. When he's unselfish as he is, that's going to come. But unfortunately for Fordham, it equates to another second-half turnover.
Scoring is slowed down here as neither team with a basket in the last 3 minutes. Fusini Drame in the near corner has his pass knocked off of the leg of Rose. Brickus will pick it up with 10 seconds on the shot clock, 12:15 remaining in the game as Fusini Drame lines up a three, too strong in the near corner, rebounded by Charlton. Here's Rose, bounce pass underneath in the right block. Moore spins underneath the basket and is fouled. Moore goes to the deck hard. He'll be at the free throw line for 2 shots. 39-34, Fordham in front, 12:05 second half.
And these free throws come at a premium right now because you look at the droughts both teams are on. Fordham, 1 for the last 7 3-minute scoring drought. La Salle, 0 for the last 5 4-minute scoring drought. If there's one way that's going to break it with Khalid Moore right now at the free throw line.
Fordham has been looking for Moore a lot in the post. He's got 10 points now and 6 rebounds. First free throw falls as well. Khalid Moore, 24 points in the season finale against Duquesne. A10 third team. Georgia Tech transfers added so much to this offense this season. Second free throw for Moore, also good. It's 41-34, 12:05 second half.
Khalid Moore comes in. You have no clue how someone's going to take that step up from more of a role player at Georgia Tech to a Batman Robin role, but he has surpassed any expectations Fordham could have placed on him.
Nickelberry in the near corner for 3. That one's too strong. Rebounded by Charlton. Passing it to Quisenberry, who will rush it up. The Rams are running again, all the way to the basket. The layup rolls in. 41-34, make that 43-34, 11:35 second half. Brantley double teamed at the top of the perimeter, passing at Nickelberry, swinging in the far corner. It's Shepard who lobs it right back to Nickelberry in the far sideline. Bounce pass Brantley at the right wing, down to the near corner. Brickus looks to drive baseline, a little bit of zone for Fordham. Now backing down Rose in the right block and a travel. Rose says lockdown as he heads to the bench. Great defense from the Rams. It's 43-34. Fordham in front of La Salle. 11:19 remaining in this second half. Let's go back to the Rose Hill Studios in the Bronx for the one-on-one scoreboard with Nick Guzman.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
It's conference tournament season in the world of college hoops with nonstop action happening all day, all across the country. We'll stay in the A10 to start, where St. Louis, VCU, and Dayton all advance to the semifinals. That sets up St. Louis versus VCU in one semifinal, while Dayton awaits the winner of Fordham and La Salle. Over to Big Ten second-round action, where Rutgers advanced to the quarterfinals with a win over Michigan. Ohio State defeated Iowa 73-69, and Penn State pulled away from Illinois late to win 77-73. Minnesota and Maryland are fastly approaching tip-off at 9:20. In the Big East quarterfinals, UConn and Marquette advanced to the semis with wins over Providence and St. John's. DePaul are up on Xavier 80-77 late in the second half, and Creighton and Villanova will tip off at 9:30. Out in the Big 12, the 10th-ranked Baylor Bears were upset by Iowa State 78-72. Kansas defeated West Virginia 78-61, and Texas leads Oklahoma State 55-44 in the second half. Tonight at 9:30, TCU and Kansas will square off. We'll go back east to the ACC to finish with college hoops, where Duke handled Pitt 96-69, and Miami squeezed out a win against Wake Forest 74-72. Virginia and UNC just went final, with Virginia coming out on top 68-59. Clemson and NC State will finish things off tonight at 9:30. On the ice, it's a busy night for Tri-State hockey. The Devils are even with the Capitals 2-2. The Rangers are tied with the Canadiens 3-3. And the Islanders trail the Penguins 3-1. All of those games are in the third period. Lastly, in local NBA action, the Bucks are up big on the Nets, leading 64-47 at the half. The Knicks are in California to take on Sacramento at 10. With the one-on-one scoreboard, I'm Nick Guzman.
Back at the Barclays Center, Sam Davis and Ryan Gregoire with 90.7 FM and WFUV Sports. Fordham in the lead, 43-34. La Salle has been held scoreless over the past 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Fordham led by 11 at halftime. They saw that lead shrink down to 2 points. Now they're getting it back up to 9 points. It's been a back-and-forth second half here.
It's been all defense as well. It's funny, you go back to the first half. Fordham goes on a 9-0 run in a minute and 20 seconds. Right now they're on a 7-0 run. It's been over 4 minutes, nearly 4.5 minutes has this run been. It's been all defense for Fordham. They haven't really figured out a ton offensively, but they've been weathering the storm. La Salle, remember, they cut it to a 2-point game. This one was almost turning on its heels. Fordham has regathered. La Salle is now over the last 7 from the field. They've done a great job coming out of that media timeout and figuring things out.
A 7-0 run for the Rams over the past 4 minutes. As Khalid Moore will inbound on the baseline, passing it into Quisenberry, who walks it up for Fordham, moving right to left here in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center in the A10 quarterfinals. Fordham in the lead, 11 minutes in the second half. Quisenberry driving all the way to the basket, a free rein to the hoop, and he scores for 2. 45-34.
He's up to 11 in this game, and that's been how he's been successful right now, taking what the defense gives him. 0 for 4 from 3, but he's been driving. He's been efficient inside.
Brickus passing it to Drame at the free throw line. Fusini misses off the side of the rim on that 10-footer. As Quisenberry at the top of the key, now at the left arc, steps into a 3, back iron. Grabbing the rebound is Moore underneath the basket at the left block. He passes it out to Charlton at the top of the key. 45-34, 10:30 second half. Quisenberry will now hold it at the A10 logo. High screen from Simbila, dribbling with the left. Now passing it Moore, top of the key. Moore dishing it into the paint. Simbila goes up, misses, and a foul on the offensive rebound as Rose had great positioning underneath the basket. He's bumped by Brickus, and Fordham draws some contact. 45-34, 10:23 second half, they lead.
Great job by Kyle Rose using his height to his advantage. 6'4", you look at Jameer Brickus, just 5'11", is able to get the ball with one hand, throw it in, and because of Brickus' lack of size, unable to meet him at the rim of the foul, goes against Brickus.
We'll say that Rose was in the act of shooting as he caught that rebound and looked to put it up and was fouled, so he's at the charity stripe here. First free throw off back iron. Rose will have one more, a 67% free throw shooter on the season.
It's rare to see a miss like that from Fordham throughout this year. With all the success, they're first in the A10 in free throw percentage. A big reason they've surprised so many people, they've closed out games down the stretch, putting teams away at the free throw line.
45-34, second free throw also too short, so 0 for 2 from the line for Rose. Cannot take advantage, 10-15 second half. Brantley, top of the key, dribbling with the right at the A10 logo. Behind the back dribble, driving into the paint, hangs and misses the floater. Tracked down for the rebound. Nickelberry comes down with it at the top of the key. Now Shepard, Euro step, he drives, and he's fouled. There were 3 Fordham defenders in the paint there going against Shepard, but he's able to drive through him, draw some contact, and head to the line.
That's Shepard's game, and he has it in his skill set to put together a big performance. 7 for 10 from the field versus URI with 15 points. He loves that drive. So the second Fordham was caught off guard with that second chance not in place. He took it to the whole Fordham offset right there, forced a foul.
Shepard had a double-double in that game against URI in the first round. He's at the free throw line here. He will be shooting 2. First free throw falls. He's only a 59% free throw shooter on the year, so struggled from the line a little bit. As Fordham leads 45-35, they're up 10 with 10:04 remaining in this second half. Second free throw from Shepard also rattles in. So 2 for 2 from the line for La Salle. They still don't have a field goal in almost 7 minutes now as Fordham in the lead 45-36. Charlton will walk it up for the Rams at the A10 logo. High screen from Simbila, coming off of it. Kicking now top of the key, Moore. He's going to look to drive. At the left block, tries to go up and under. It's denied by the rim, but Simbila grabbing the offensive rebound and is fouled on the floor. Fordham with a number of second chance opportunities in this second half.
They've done a great job of keeping possessions alive just with their strength. Abdou Simbila, he's the most physical player on the court, and you want to use that to your advantage as much as possible. So you get him down low, you let him attack the offensive glass, and so far he's been pretty successful in this one.
9:45 second half, 45-36, Fordham in the lead, and now another foul going against La Salle as Quisenberry caught a handoff there from Simbila at the top of the key, and he's bumped by Brickus, and already the 17th foul for La Salle, which will put Fordham in the bonus. And it's not a guy you want to send to the line either. It's Darius Quisenberry The leader for this team, also 84% the line.
I know Kyle Rose just went 0 for 2, but you can't emphasize enough how important it is for Fordham to get into this bonus with still so much time on the clock.
First free throw is off the side of the rim, so the 1-and-1, he misses the front end. Fordham not taking advantage at the line in the last 2 possessions. They still lead by 9, 45-36, 9:30 second half. Brickus shaking in the paint, passing underneath the basket. It's Shepard. Now passing in the near corner, it's Brantley. Now at the right wing, Brantley drives baseline. Kicks it out. Brickus fakes a 3. Now sidesteps and hits one. A big 3 for La Salle. Jameer Brickus knocks it down, 45-39. Fordham still in front.
The guard play of Khalil Brantley and Brickus right there on full display. An excellent move inside by Brantley to draw his man off of Brickus. Finds him, and he drills the 3.
Quisenberry passing it to Moore, top of the key. Moore driving with the right hand, and he's fouled. Moore now with 12 points and 8 rebounds. He'll be back at the free throw line here. Fordham 45, La Salle 39, 8:59 second half.
Missing 3 straight free throws are the Rams, something you never see from them, so it's going to be so important here down the stretch to hit the free throws. You go back to La Salle's last game in the final 5 minutes, they went 14 for 17 from the free throw line to close that one out. Fordham needs similar success if they want to do that to the Explorers.
First free throw is good there from Khalid Moore. He's 3 for 3 at the line. He's a 76% free throw shooter coming into today. Second free throw is also good. That makes it 47-39. Fordham in front by 8 over La Salle with 8:50 remaining in the second half. Brickus lobbing it to Brantley in the far sideline. Now right back to Brickus. Over half court, right back to Brantley at the left wing. Brantley lobbing it, looking for Shepard, but threw it way over his head. And out of bounds, a turnover for La Salle. Fordham will take over, 8:44 second half. They lead by 8.
After making the perfect play last possession to find Jameer Brickus, that was the imperfect play. An ill-advised throw right there, had nothing on it. Shepard didn't have a chance to come down with that one.
Quisenberry top of the key, now at the right wing, dribbling with the right all the way to the basket again. Count it! That's what Darius Quisenberry does. He drives in the lane, draws the contact, and one. He'll be at the free throw line for one more.
We've talked so much about the depth for Fordham, but suddenly look up at the scoreboard, Sam. Khalid Moore, 14 points. Darius Quisenberry, 13, has a chance to match him right here. The 2 leaders for Fordham showing up in the biggest of moments.
Quisenberry at the charity stripe. Spins the basketball, just 1 for 3 from the line today, and misses another free throw. Off back iron, uncharacteristic for DQ. 49-39, Fordham up 10. Brantley quickly moving the other way, driving into the paint, but misses the floater too short. It's off of Fordham on the rebound, so La Salle will keep possession here, trailing by 10, 8:26 second half.
With everybody but Quisenberry in the paint right there, it's going to be hard for Fordham to argue that should have been their basketball.
Here's Brantley at the top of the key, driving all the way to the hoop. It looked like he was trying to dunk that ball. Gets hit hard, falls to the ground, and is fouled. As he will head to the free throw line, Khalil Brantley, the sophomore from the Bronx, went to high school his senior year, just 2 miles from Fordham at Our Savior Lutheran High School. Took a hard hit there as he heads to the charity stripe.
His first step off the dribble, as explosive as anyone I've seen in this conference. You look at him, that hesitation every single time he's been able to blow by his defender. Did it once again right there.
Khalil Brantley at the line for 2. First free throw is too short. It's no good. 49-39, Fordham holding that 10-point lead, 8:23 second half. Brantley will have one more. Puts the ball on the deck for La Salle. Second free throw off the front rim, but a forgiving bounce, and it rolls in. Which makes it 49-40, Fordham in the lead by 9, 8:23 second half. La Salle opening up with some full court pressure here a little bit as it's passed into Quisenberry, but now they'll sag off, and Quisenberry will bring it up for the Rams over half court. At the right wing, passing it more top of the key. Lobbing it into the paint at the left block. Nowitzki has it knocked away from his hands. Diving to the floor are a couple of members of the Explorers in addition to Nowitzki. And a jump ball. It'll be in favor of La Salle, so they'll take it, trailing by 9, 8:06 second half.
The right play right there from Khalil Brantley. Once Nowitzki gets the ball in the post, brings the immediate double. He goes on the ground, does a great job trying to corral it, but the jump ball in La Salle's favor still take over.
Brantley will inbound on the baseline for La Salle, passing it into Brickus. Fordham has come out with a little bit of half-court pressure and a little zone near the half-court line as Brantley has it, passing it to Gill from the near sideline. Now it's back to Brantley at the top of the key. Brantley, bounce pass to Gill. Gill, ball fakes, now drives, kicks it out. Brantley straight on for three, and it's good. Khalil Brantley knocks down a triple, 49-43, 7:30, second half.
He's up to 14 points in this game, 2 for 2 from 3. He's doing everything in his power to keep La Salle in this game.
Quisenberry, top of the key, dribbling with the left. Now with the right, at the top of the key. Cross-court pass in the near corner. Richardson now passing to the left arc. It's Moore. He drives, spins up the A10 logo. Fadeaway jumper. It rolls in. 51-43, Fordham in front, 7:15 second half.
Great, nice little post up right there from Khalid. Moore created complete separation, was wide open for that too.
Brantley lobbing it to Nickelberry in the far corner. Now Brickus, right back to Brantley, and it's stolen. Up ahead to Khalid Moore, and the easy layup for Moore. 53-43, Fordham up 10. Brantley will look to push it quickly ahead for La Salle. Shepard passing it to Gill at the right wing. Here's Gill holding it over his head. Ball fakes, now passing in the near corner. Shepard right back to Brantley. Brantley, bounce past Nickelberry, left wing, swinging in the far corner. Brickus, he drives baseline, bounce past Gill. Has it blocked by Simbila, but right there for the putback is Brickus for 2 for La Salle. 53-45, 6:30 second half.
Brickus almost expecting that ball to be blocked, put himself in the perfect position to come down with it and lay it right in while Simbila was still coming down.
Quisenberry dribbling at the A10 logo. 6 minutes remaining in the game. At the left arc, he's open for 3, no good. Moore tries to grab the board. Out of bounds, off of La Salle. It'll be off of Shepard. So Fordham will keep possession.
And Sam, you look at the sidelines here for Fordham. Coach Ergo, telling his team to, keep the cool and, stay under tempo and, make sure that they don't let the highs get too high and they don't let the lows get too low. You see Darius Quisenberry go up to get the and one there, finishes strong at the hoop. But Coach is making sure his team stays under control, and they know that there's a lot of time left in this game, 6 minutes and 12 seconds, still a lot of room to happen. Brantley hits a 3 on the other end. Coach Ergo still telling his group to keep down and to settle things there. So it's a lot of communication, but making sure that you don't let the highs get you too high and the lows get you too low. Stay the course. You need a full 40 minutes if you want to come away with the win.
53-45, Fordham in front of La Salle with 6:12 remaining in this second half. And Coach Ergo, that's been his mindset all year long. He preached that to us in the offseason. He preached that to us in the non-conference. It was about playing their best basketball at the end of the year. That's just kind of the mindset that he's had. It's been all about winning, and he talked about with his team that this group is not even satisfied with a 3 seed. They're not satisfied with tied for second. They want to be champions of this conference. That is the mindset that they have. And with a lead here, you know that they're still going to stay locked in, and Coach Ergo is going to do everything they can for Fordham to close this one out.
If you want to truly turn around the culture, that's the mindset you need. You need that mentality, the day in and day out. Your group is going to give it for 40 minutes. You're the better team. You talked to Coach Ergo, I remember, midway through the out-of-conference. I asked him, was there anything that surprised you about this team? He said how confident they are. I couldn't believe that they go into every single game, whether it's at Arkansas or at home for Central Connecticut State, with the mindset that they're going to come out victorious, that they're the better team. That's what you need to turn around. It's what you've seen from the Fordham Rams this year.
Both teams are struggling from behind the arc in this one. Fordham shooting 21% and La Salle shooting 23% from deep. It's been Khalil Brantley leading the way for the Explorers. He has 14 points. Brickus is there with 11. And for Fordham, it's been their 2 guys as well. It's been Khalid Moore with 18 points, 4 for 4 from the line. Quisenberry with 13 points. We talked about it before this timeout, but Fordham already in the bonus, going to have 6 minutes of shooting free throws and opportunities at the charity stripe. They're a great free throw shooting team. So you got to think in these final 6 minutes, very important for Fordham to have the opportunity to continue getting to that line.
And uncharacteristically, they've left a lot of points on the board in that aspect. Just 7 for 16 from the free throw line. Darius Quisenberry, an 84% free throw shooter. He's 1 for 4 in that aspect. This is not something we've seen for Fordham. If they want to close this out, they got to turn that around.
Both teams back out on the court here. Fordham has possession. Off the loose ball, out of bounds, off of the Explorers. With 6:12 remaining in this A10 quarterfinal matchup between the 11 seed La Salle and the 3 seed Fordham, the winner will play Dayton in the A10 semifinals on Saturday afternoon. Charlton lobbing it into Nowitzki, who has it at the left elbow. Nowitzki spins in the paint, loses it for a moment, gets it back. Now the ball's still on the ground. It's out of bounds. Pat Kelly tried to save it as he goes to the deck, but it's a turnover, and La Salle will have it.
It looks like La Salle has figured out the game plan when it comes to Nowitzki down low. They bring that swarm double. They swipe across when he has the ball. He's typically not able to pick up the defender in time, which led to another turnover from the big man.
Nowitzki has gotten it done on the defensive end with 5 rebounds, 6 blocks for the big man as Brickus has it over half court, dribbling with the left. Now at the left wing, passing it to Gill, top of the key. Now it's Shepard at the left elbow, right back to Gill at the right block, and he misses. Nowitzki with another strong defensive play. He falls over Gill, and a foul going against La Salle, which means Fordham will have free throws. 5:48 second half, 53-45. They lead the Explorers.
Gill hit the floor hard right there. Nowitzki just right under him, tripped him down, and certainly Fordham will take that opportunity. We'll see if this is where they turn it around from the free throw line.
Anwar Gill up to 4 fouls for La Salle. The Rams don't have much foul trouble. Khalid Moore with 3, but just 5:45 remaining in the second half. Nowitzki will be at the free throw line here. Airball the free throw earlier on. He's 1 for 3 from the charity stripe. It's going to be 2 shots with the Rams in the double bonus, and the free throw's off the back of the rim. So Fordham, like you said, Ryan, uncharacteristic. They're missing a lot of free throws here, leaving a lot of points on the board. They lead by 8, 5:48 second half.
7 for 17. Fordham's picked the worst game of the season to have the worst performance from the free throw line.
And off the side of the rim, the second free throw is no good as well. So 0 for 2 from the line for Nowitzki. Passing it into the near corner, it's Gill. Thought about a 3, now he takes it, and it rolls in. Gill from beyond the arc. It's 53-48. La Salle has cut the deficit down to 5, 5:30 second half. Quisenberry will walk it up across the logo for Fordham. Handing it off Richardson, top of the key. He holds it at his chest, directing traffic for the Rams. Time is on their side, but the lead is now only 5. Nowitzki now at the left arc. Handing it off Richardson in the near corner. Takes a 3 and drills it. What a 3 from the freshman. Knocks it down. 56-48. Fordham up by 8. 5 minutes second half. Here's Gill for La Salle. Dishing it off Brickus. And now it's Shepard who goes up and gets the tough layup over Nowitzki. La Salle responds. 56-50. Under 5 minutes second half.
And in a game where Nowitzki has 6 blocks, you almost expect him to come down with number 7 right there. But Shepard stood tall enough and patient enough to lay it in over him.
Here's Quisenberry dribbling with the left at the top of the key. Now driving towards the right block, underneath the basket, circling around the paint. Now puts it up with the right hand, too strong, but Nowitzki snatches down the offensive board. He goes up with it, misses too short. Khalid Moore comes down with another rebound for Fordham. A jump ball and a possession arrow in favor of the Fordham Rams. They're getting those second chance opportunities. 56-50, they lead by 6, 4:28 second half.
And they're going to need them the way this game is going. La Salle has proven they will not go down quietly.
Charlton will inbound underneath his basket on the baseline for Fordham with a fresh shot clock. 4:28 remaining in the game. The Rams in the lead by 6. Lobbing it in, it's Khalid Moore at the extended left block. Goes to work, puts his head down and is fouled. Khalid Moore with 18 points in the game. He's 4 for 4 from the line. He'll be back at the charity stripe here as the Rams lead by 6.
You mentioned the 4 for 4. Without him, Fordham shooting just 3 for 15 from the free throw line. That is a number that is hard to believe, even when you've seen all these misses. It really is up to Khalid Moore right now to wrong that ship.
And that's the 5th foul on Anwar Gill. So he's going to foul out of this game. As Khalid Moore awaits his free throws. Coach Dunphy talking to the referee on the far sideline. It's going to be Fusini Drame checking back in for the Explorers. Moore at the line with 18 points in the game. Fordham led by 11 at the half. Now they lead by 6 after a back-and-forth second half. The first free throw from Moore rims out. Another miss at the line for the Rams.
The struggles are infectious right now from the free throw line. This is a shocking development.
36% from the charity stripe. Second free throw, he hits it to make it a 7-point lead for Fordham. 57-50 over LaSalle. Brickus will bring it up for the Explorers. Looking to get it over half court in the far sideline. Long pass to Nickelberry. He has it in the near corner. He'll take a three. Josh Nickelberry, that's what he does. He knocks down a three. 57-53, LaSalle trailing by 4. Under 4 minutes to play in the second half.
Sixth man of the conference showing you why right there was a quiet 0 for 1 from the field. Welcome to the box score, Josh Nickelberry.
Here's Quisenberry the other way, driving for 2. The layup with the right hand off the glass. 3:50. Second half, Fordham up 59-53. Brickus passing it to Brantley as LaSalle has it over half court. 3:40 second half. Brantley at the top of the key, passing it into the far corner. Shepard, he's open for 3, misses off the back iron. And a foul on the floor. On the rebound, it goes against Fordham. And that stoppage will lead us to our final media timeout in this one. Stick around, this will be a good last couple of minutes. 59-53, Fordham in front by 6 with 3:34 remaining in the game. Let's go back to the Rose Hill Studios for the one-on-one scoreboard with Nick Guzman.
The one-on-one scoreboard.
It's conference tournament mayhem on this Thursday, March 9th, with nonstop action all day long. We'll start off in the A10 quarterfinals, where St. Louis defeated George Mason 82-54. VCU topped Davidson 71-53, and Dayton got the better of St. Joe's 60-54. That sets up St. Louis versus VCU in one semifinal, while Dayton will play the winner of Fordham and LaSalle. In the Big East quarterfinals, UConn and Marquette advanced to the semis with wins over Providence and St. John's, respectively, while Xavier narrowly avoided the upset against DePaul, winning 89-84. Creighton and Villanova are set to get underway in just a few minutes. Over to Big Ten second-round action, where Rutgers advanced to the quarterfinals with a big win over Michigan. Ohio State defeated Iowa 73-69, and Penn State pulled away from Illinois late to win 77-73. Minnesota and Maryland have just tipped off in Chicago. Out in the Big 12, the 10th-ranked Baylor Bears were upset by Iowa State 78-72. Kansas defeated West Virginia 78-61, and Texas topped Oklahoma State 60-47. And we'll go back east to the ACC to finish out with college hoops, where Duke handled Pitt 96-69, and Miami squeezed out a win against Wake Forest 74-72. Virginia and UNC just went final, with Virginia coming out on top 68-59. Clemson and NC State are tipping off in just a few moments. On the ice, very busy night for Tri-State hockey. The Devils are even with the Capitals 2-2. The Rangers are tied with the Canadiens 3-3, and the Islanders trail the Penguins 3-2. All of those games are late in the third period. Lastly, in the NBA, the Bucks are up on the Nets, leading 75-63 in the third quarter, while the Knicks are out in Cali to take on the Sacramento Kings at 10. With the one-on-one scoreboard one final time, I'm Nick Guzman.
Final 3 minutes and 34 seconds in the Atlantic 10 quarterfinal between the 3-seed Fordham Rams and the 11-seed LaSalle Explorers. Fordham in the lead by 6, 59-53. The Rams shooting better from the field, 43%, than they are from the free throw line at 40%. Didn't think I would say that heading into tonight.
I didn't think that would ever be said on a Fordham Rams broadcast, no, particularly because they were number 1 in the conference throughout this year. You look at with the scoreboard, this is a tight game, but if Fordham's just shooting 70% from the free throw line, which is still under the season average, they're up 12 in this one, so it really is the story of this game.
And LaSalle, credit to them, fighting back with some big-time threes. They're now 5 for 16 from behind the arc after going 0 for 7 the majority of that first half. As it's going to be Khalil Brantley inbounding on the baseline, passing it into Nickelberry, who has it blocked by Rose. Fighting for the rebound, it's loose. And a foul will be called. It's going to go against Fordham, as Deshaun Shepard was able to get the offensive rebound, so LaSalle will keep possession.
Second chance opportunities, they always lead to potential scenarios like this. With Fordham caught off guard, not set, you're always going to be more likely to foul. It's exactly what the Rams did right there.
3:27 second half, 59-53, Fordham in front. Brantley lobbing it across the court. Brickus going into the backcourt to retrieve it. He'll have it for the Explorers. 15 on the shot clock, top of the key. Here's Brickus. Through the legs dribble. Passing it into the near corner, Shepard. Lobbing it in the right block. It's Fusini Drame, who passes it off of Shepard's foot, out of bounds, a turnover for the Explorers. Fordham will take it. 3:15 remaining. They lead by 6.
A quick, tight pass inside to Shepard. Had too much velo on it. Couldn't corral it. Hit off his knee. Fordham catches the break, get the basketball back.
59-53, the Rams in front. It's going to be a tight final 3 minutes of action here in the Atlantic 10 quarterfinals. Fighting for the right to play Dayton in the semis. Passing it into Moore. Bounce pass to Charlton. LaSalle with a little bit of pressure. Charlton will advance it over half court. At the top of the key. Passing to Richardson at the right wing. Now Quisenberry top of the key. Quisenberry will hold it and waste some time for Fordham. Under 3 minutes to play in the game. Quisenberry dribbling with the left. Now with the right at the top of the perimeter. Off a screen from Simbila. At the left wing. Looks to drive baseline. 5 seconds on the shot clock. Quisenberry in the near corner. Looks to drive. Puts up the runner. Off the glass and in. A big floater for Darius Quisenberry. 61-53. Fordham extends the lead. 2:30 second half.
The composure of Quisenberry to hold it that entire shot clock. Getting a soft teardropper to get it to go off the glass. An impressive move.
Sini Drame left arc. He tries a three. Too strong. Rebounded by Moore. Passing it up ahead to Charlton. 2:20 second half. Fordham will slow it down again. 61-53. The Rams in front. 2:15 remaining in the game. Quisenberry in the near sideline. Now with the A10 logo. Will dribble off some more clock. Now 10 seconds on the shot clock. Coming off a screen, Simbila at the right wing. Passing it more top of the key. Charlton left wing. Charlton goes to work. At the left block, loses it for a moment, diving to the floor. And a shot clock violation against the Rams as Charlton coughs it up. A timely, costly turnover there. 1:57 second half. Fordham still in the lead, 61-53.
Now it's a positive for Fordham to take 30 seconds off the clock, but a really bad offensive possession. Nothing was ever going for the Rams right there. That Charlton turnover with around 10 seconds really disrupted the play. He tried to get on top of it, but the shot clock ran out.
Let's go Fordham chants ring out at the Barclays Center for the final 2 minutes of the A10 quarterfinals. Brantley will bring it up for LaSalle, having it at the right wing. Bounce pass to Shepard, top of the key, right back to Brantley. Brantley right back to Shepard, passing underneath. Fusini Drame goes up and scores. Timeout called by LaSalle. With 1:42 remaining in this one, LaSalle will not go away, and you're not surprised with the run that they've had here to the quarterfinals. 61-55, Fordham in the lead by 6, 1:42 remaining in the game.
Regardless of results, so impressive from the Explorers that day in and day out in this game, they have lived up to every opportunity. When it looks like Fordham's going to really pull away, they have not let them do so. Right there, a great possession coming off the turnover to dump it inside. Easy 2 for them, down 6 in this one, but this feels tight as anyone for Fordham all season.
Definitely feels tight, and with the stakes of this game, it's win or go home, which makes every possession matter for Fordham in this final 1 minute and 42 seconds. As Fordham will break the huddle, as will LaSalle. The Rams will be tasked with inbounding on the baseline, looking to go full court here, right to left at the Barclays Center, with under 2 minutes to play in this one.
Now, Sam, look for them to run Omaha right here. It's when they spread 5 wide out like it's a football play. They run this play with under 2 minutes when they're up. I'm not sure if we're going to see it coming right now, but if they need to get the ball in late, that's what they always go to.
Charlton will inbound on the baseline, looking to pass it in. Still looking, and a timeout. Now Fordham will take a timeout after LaSalle took that one. Some trouble getting it in there. Good defense from LaSalle in the backcourt. With just 1:42 left, 61-55, Fordham in front.
That's been one issue this season you can go through. Fordham's had a bit of a trouble inbounding the ball during this late stretch when teams are pressuring completely in the backcourt right there. A smart, wise play from Mantra. Charlton know the clock is winding down on that 5 second. You cannot turn the ball over there, so waste the timeout. You had 2 left.
Just a 30-second timeout here as both teams are talking it over. Fordham trying to draw up a game plan to get this ball in bounds. Still enough time for LaSalle where they can play defense, get a stop, and try and get a score the other way. They trail by just 6. It's going to be Charlton once again inbounding on the baseline, with the Rams looking to go full court. Charlton running that baseline, passing it into Moore. Moore has it right back to Charlton. Nobody near him, and he'll slow this down and walk it up past half court. 1:30 remaining in the game. Charlton fakes the handoff. Guarded closely by Nickelberry. Now he hands it off to Quisenberry at the far sideline. Quisenberry top of the key. Dribbling with the left. Splits a double team, driving into the paint, 10 on the shot clock. Quisenberry bounce pass out to Charlton. Crossover move. He drives all the way but has it stolen. Nickelberry comes up with it. Brickets the other way, hangs in the air and hits the layup. Fordham 61, La Salle 57. The Explorers get exactly what they were looking for, a stop and a score. A minute 09 remaining in the game. Another timeout called, this time by La Salle.
An excellent defense right there from La Salle. The on-court pressure from them. Fordham never had a chance right there to move it up the court successfully. La Salle turning that defense into offense, converting on the transition.
61-57, Fordham in front. A minute 09 remaining. Let's go to Mike Calamari.
And Coach Ergo there, he was trying to say that Will Richardson already had the ball and it was not an eligible timeout for Fran Dunphy to call there. Nevertheless, La Salle gets the timeout call. Both teams with one timeout left, and something to note here, we mentioned it earlier, Fran Dunphy, he's been to the NCAA tournament 17 times, already 2 wins here at the Atlantic 10 tournament. He's got a paramount amount of experience on that side for La Salle. Coach Ergo, his first year as the Fordham head coach, over 20 wins for the first time since 1991. A difference in experience, both great coaches, but something to note as we get in the final minute of this game. Back to you guys.
It's certainly crunch time here at the Barclays Center with a 4-point lead for Fordham and just a minute 10 seconds remaining. La Salle got a quick basket there, and Fordham will be inbounding once again. And the same thing as last possession, the Explorers don't have to foul. They can take those 30 seconds. If they get the ball back trailing by 4, they have a very good chance.
With how well their defense has been playing, you love their chance in doing so, and you get why Coach Ergo was so frustrated, because Will Richardson had the chance to get it up the court. No ease right there. Don't let La Salle get set. Instead, now you have them completely set with their defense, where Fordham's had trouble just inbounding the ball. So we'll see right now, coming out of this timeout that was called, was granted to Fran Dunphy, what Fordham's going to draw up.
It'll be Charlton once again inbounding on the baseline for Fordham. They lead by 4, 61-57, a minute 10 remaining in the game. Charlton running across the baseline, passing it into Quisenberry. Quisenberry will walk it up for the Rams. Passing it up ahead to Richardson. Richardson at the top of the key, holds on to it. Now a bounce pass to Charlton. Quisenberry at the A10 logo. We're under a minute to play. Fordham up by 4 in the A10 quarterfinals. Dribbling with the left, here's Quisenberry in the near sideline. At the A10 logo, now at the left wing. 5 seconds on the shot clock, a 3, and he hits it! The Fordham leader with the biggest shot of the game. 64-57, ice in his veins, Darius Quisenberry.
Biggest shot of the game. How about biggest shot of the season for Darius Quisenberry? Fitting, the captain on and off the court, dribbles out that entire shot clock, gets a little separation from beyond the arc, lets it fly. He struggled so much in this game, 0 for 6 before that, makes it count with his first 3.
We've talked about it at times with Darius Quisenberry. He finds a way, no matter how he's shooting in the game. He could be struggling, he could be red hot, but down the stretch, the leader of this team, he does what big-time players do, hitting that shot in the late stages, giving Fordham a lot of breathing room here.
He embraces that moment, Sam. He's not going to back down from everything. He sees basketball as a game. He takes it for fun, so he's not going to choke up in the pressure down the stretch. He's going to have as much fun as he's had throughout his entire career. In these final few games, he's letting it all on the line, and he's showing it with a big-time performance here tonight.
46.8 seconds remaining in the game. Fordham 64, La Salle 57. The Rams up by 7 off of a massive 3 from Darius Quisenberry. And now La Salle will look to go the length of this court. They'll have to score quick. We'll see if they decide to go for a 2 or a 3, but not a lot of time left in this one. All of a sudden, La Salle facing that 7-point deficit.
And you factor in, if that 3 misses, La Salle gets 3 of them, they push it up all the other way. We could be having a completely different conversation where they don't even have to foul if Fordham gets the ball back. But fortunately enough for Fordham, Darius Quisenberry, it's the biggest shot of the season. Now La Salle, the clock is working against them.
It'll be Nickelberry inbounding on the baseline for La Salle. With the Explorers looking to score quick here with 45 seconds remaining. Looks to pass it in, but a stoppage real quick here. Perhaps an issue with the clock as the referees will converge on the scorers table. 46.8 in this second half remaining.
And Sam, it should be noted, Fordham used their last time out in the huddle right there, so they're feeling good about their chances. They want to make sure in that scenario they got everything right.
Charlton pumping up the crowd. Quisenberry pumping up the crowd. Let's go Fordham chants once again ringing through the Barclays Center. A true home court advantage in this one in Brooklyn. As the referee's still at the scorer's table talking things over.
And Sam, I don't care what you say, despite we're at the Barclays Center, this is a home game for Fordham right now. You can tell with that energy in the crowd letting it be known right there.
Now both sidelines and their coaches will huddle up and talk things over. They'll use this as a timeout. You mentioned Fordham doesn't have any remaining, but Coach Ergo talking to his team here in the final 46 seconds. And a fresh 30 on the shot clock as La Salle is waiting to inbound on the baseline as they look to go the length of the court and set something up. Coach Dunphy drawing up a play with his team right now as the referee still at that scorer's table. Got to be a clock issue that they're looking at here. Quisenberry up to 20 points on the day, the leading scorer, and why not? Hitting that biggest shot of the game and the biggest shot of the season, like you said, Ryan. As both teams back out onto the court here, we're finally ready to get these 46 seconds back underway. That separates Fordham and the Atlantic 10 semifinals and a date with Dayton. It's going to be Nickelberry as Coach Ergo on the far sideline firing up the Rams faithful in the student section, trying to give all that energy for the remaining 46 seconds. As the referees finally leave the scorer's table and talk to Coach Dunphy and talk to Coach Ergo. And all that for about a second. So 45.9 seconds now on this game clock. 30 seconds on the shot clock. 64-57. Fordham up 7. Nickelberry inbounding for La Salle. Looking to go the length of the court, passing it into Brickus. Brickus will have to move quick across the half-court line. At the top of the key, handing it off. Brantley takes a deep three off the side of the rim. Moore comes down with the rebound. Fighting for it and is fouled. A big miss there for the Explorers, and with 33.9 seconds remaining in the game, Fordham with a chance to ice it at the free throw line.
Now, what typically isn't a daunting task certainly is in this one. If you look at the box score, the lowest of lows in that category is from the free throw line, 8 for 20, 40% from the game.
Khalid Moore at the line, the one guy who has had success here, so it is the guy you want. Grabbing that rebound. He's 5 for 6 at the line today. He has a double-double now with 19 points and 11 rebounds. The first free throw rolls out. Fordham can't buy a basket at the charity stripe. Khalid will have one more.
And at this point, Sam, that absurd stat you brought up a few minutes ago looks like, unless this game really turns out as heels, it's going to hold true, a higher percent from the field than from the free throw line.
Second free throw is good, so 1 of 2 from the line for Moore, which makes it 65-57. Fordham up by 8. Brantley quickly over half court. Drives all the way to the basket. A free trip to the lane and an easy layup. The shot clock is off. 27.3 seconds. Now another timeout. This one once again called by La Salle.
Timeout La Salle.
It's 65-59. Fordham up by 6. They'll have to hit some more free throws here to escape the Barclays with a victory.
The final timeout of the game as well for either team. So we're going to see a lot of action here down the stretch. If you're Fordham, it has to come at the free throw line. I know you could probably escape here if you get lucky, defend the 3, but you want to feel good about yourselves exiting in this one. Now at 9 for 22 from the free throw line. You get the ball in right now, Sam. You take care of business at the free throw line. You exit Barclays Center with a massive program-defining win.
Khalid Moore with 20 points on the day and 11 rebounds. Darius Quisenberry right there with 20 himself. Very fitting. The 2 leaders for the Rams offensively all year are the 2 guys carrying them in this quarterfinals game and looking to bring Fordham into the A10 semis. 27.3 seconds remaining in the game. The shot clock is off. Fordham comes out in their football formation. It's 4 guys on the baseline. All 5 on the baseline. Rose will pass it in. Still looking around. Throws it into Moore over his head, out of bounds. A turnover for Fordham. That can't happen. La Salle will have possession.
Incredibly sloppy play down the stretch. We've talked about the free throw line, but also the inbound. Fordham turned it over a few possessions ago to give La Salle a chance, and here again keeping the Explorers in this game.
The 13th turnover of the game for Fordham, and it couldn't have come at a worse time. Inbounding there, just trying to hit their free throws, but now La Salle will have a possession, trailing by 6, 65-59. Brantley will inbound underneath his own basket for the Explorers. 27.3 seconds remaining in the game as no time came off the turnover. Brantley inbounding, lobbing it into Nickelberry at the right wing. Nickelberry guarded closely by Charlton, now Rose. Passing it Brantley, top of the key. He looks to drive, sidesteps, puts up the layup, and one! A massive basket for Khalil Brantley. 65-61. He'll have a chance at the line to make this a one-possession game.
Coming out of that Darius Quisenberry 3, if you could draw this game up for La Salle to make them get right back in it, everything's happened. Fordham missing free throws, turning it over, and then an and one the other way for La Salle.
Brantley at the line. The free throw's no good. Rebound snatched down by Simbila, and he's fouled. 18.4 seconds remaining in the game. It's going to be Abdou Simbila at the free throw line with Fordham leading by 4, 65-61.
And talk about massive breathing room if you're Fordham right there. The difference between a 3 and a 4-point game with how poor Fordham is shooting at the free throw line, it means everything in this one.
Simbila at the line now for the Rams. He will have 2 shots with Fordham in the double bonus and a 65-61 lead. Nothing has been comfortable in the final couple of minutes for Fordham. A massive 3 from Quisenberry to put them up 7. But La Salle has come right back. They've done it all game. They trail by 4. And Simbila is now at the line for some of the biggest free throws of the year. The first shot is good. 66-61. Simbila will have one more.
The luxury he gives you on the season at 72%. For a big man at that size, it's massive for Fordham. You can't play Haka Simbila on him.
66-61. Simbila spins the ball. Here's the second shot from the line. That one's good as well. 67-61. Brantley will bring it up quick for La Salle. Quickly over half court. Driving all the way to the basket. Up and under. Tries to pass it out. Nickelberry, a deep 3 off the side of the rim. Quisenberry comes down with the board. 5 seconds left. He brings it over half court. And that's going to do it. Quisenberry finishes off the game with a layup. 2.1 seconds remaining. 69-61. The finishing touches on a massive win for Fordham in the A10 quarterfinals. And for the first time since 2006, Fordham is on to the semis. They take on Dayton Saturday afternoon. A 69-61 win over La Salle in the quarterfinals. What a victory for the Rams.
How about Darius Quisenberry putting the bow on this game? Didn't need to put that layup in, but all for style points down the stretch. Fordham, they close it out. Sam, you mentioned it. It wasn't easy. It wasn't pretty. But at the end of the day, all that matters for Fordham, all they care about is the W and moving on.
And it's fitting that Quisenberry finishes off that game. He hit the 3, the massive 3 that put Fordham up and put them up for good, as they had not a lot of breathing room in the late stage of this one. But Fordham wins regardless, 69-61 at 22 points for Darius Quisenberry. 1 for 7 from 3, and the 1-3 was the biggest one of the game, and like you mentioned, the biggest one of the season.
You trade that one for the 6 misses any time of the week, and Darius Quisenberry down the stretch. Fordham was in a rut offensively. They weren't getting anything going. La Salle did a fantastic job defensively. It took their leader on this season to hit the dagger, put the ice in his veins, and he delivered once again.
Coach Ergo calling his team to the locker room following a massive win here in the Atlantic 10 quarterfinals. 69-61 over La Salle. Khalid Moore was right there with Darius Quisenberry. He had 20 points in the game, a double-double in this one, 11 rebounds as well. Khalil Brantley led the way for La Salle with 18 points. A fantastic season for them, falling short in the Atlantic 10 quarterfinals. Fordham will have a day off before the A10 semis, where they take on Dayton, who was a winner over St. Joe's earlier today. But that's a problem for another day or for tomorrow for Fordham, as they're going to celebrate this win over La Salle. We're joined by Associate Head Coach Trey Woodall with us here following the victory, 69-61. Fordham.
You all good? All good?
Over La Salle. We're all good, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Catch your breath here.
Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. I give y'all like pretty much an opening statement. I thought our guys were resilient, to be honest, and we played a lot of guys, but I thought our seniors led us the whole way. La Salle's a hell of a team. Coach Fran Dumfries, oh man, he's a legend. He did a great job, and our guys just fought, man. It's March, it's March, so. La Salle made their run, but we were able to withstand it and then come out with a victory.
Coach, you mentioned Darius Quisenberry leading the way, 22 points.
Yep.
He was 0 for 6 from behind the arc before that shot, that massive three-pointer.
Yep.
What does that say about the guy that he is, the leader that he is, to step up when it matters most for Fordham?
Well, both our seniors led us. Wow, Khalid had 20 and 11. That's what you want, in March. Guys who've been here before. And, we're not surprised by those big moments that, DQ has. Ups and downs throughout the game. He stays steady. He stays with it, and he stays the course and is worried about his teammates. So I'm happy for him to have a moment. But, again, advance, survive, and advance.
Coach, Roslik Nowitzki in this game with 6 blocks, and even when he wasn't blocking, he was taking charges. He was doing everything, putting his body on the line to help Fordham come out with the win. How impressed were you with his performance?
Take a full committee, man. Roslik had 6 blocks.
we were shocked too. We were certainly shocked
6 blocks,
too.
man. But that's a testament to our guys just working their tail off. Roslik being where he's supposed to be, and he has pretty good timing. So we're happy that guy's on our team.
Coach, having the student section here, having a big Fordham presence in Brooklyn, what did that mean for the team? What did that mean for you guys, having that support from the crowd tonight?
Yeah, we talked about bringing the Bronx to Brooklyn, and I think our fan base did that. The game was up and down, but our fans stayed with it. Gave us some extra life also, and our guys needed it. They used it. So I'm happy to be able to put on a solid performance for our fans, but more importantly, our guys in that locker room.
Now, Coach, you talked about how it's March. It keeps rolling on. Survive in advance is the mentality. Walk us through this next day, Friday and off day, then Saturday, Dayton. What needs to improve in that game to come out victorious once again? To
be honest, we're going to go in there, we're going to watch film, and we're going to focus on ourselves. We want to get better from this game and be able to focus on ourselves. I think, when we played Dayton early on in the year, we were just a completely different team than we are now. So I think we're going to go and watch the film. We're going to focus on ourselves and prepare for Dayton and, see what we got.
Associate head coach Trey Woodall. Coach, thanks so much. Enjoy the victory tonight.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Final score, 69-61. Fordham over La Salle. A huge victory in the Atlantic 10 quarterfinals. Like you mentioned, Ryan, they'll be on to the A10 semis against Dayton, but we got to give Fordham a little bit of time to enjoy this one. A gutsy win, a back-and-forth game. Fordham led by 11 at the half. They saw that lead shrink, but a massive 3 from Quisenberry, some free throws down the stretch. They close it out with a win.
We've mentioned it. This wasn't a typical 11 seed you were seeing in La Salle. With all of Fran Dunphy's experience, you knew they were going to throw everything out at Fordham, and they did. And you have to give credit to the Rams because they battled, they went back and forth, but they never believed they were going to lose this game, just like we've seen all season long. They have all the confidence in the world, and you look up and down the box, this was not the best game Fordham played all year. You talk about the turnovers. They had 11 in the second half, right? The free throws they could not figure out, only 50% for the game, their worst performance of the season, and yet no excuses. They still win this game by 8, and they move on to Saturday.
And Ryan, before we send it back to the studio, the crowd tonight, the energy tonight here in Brooklyn, I think really showing Fordham and this basketball program and where they've come over the course of the year, what Coach Ergo and he's brought to this team. It's a different culture in New York. It's a basketball school, and we saw that in full force here tonight at Barclays.
I'm glad you mentioned it, Sam, because this isn't the A10 that we've seen before. This is a whole other animal now. Barclays is a home court advantage for Fordham. We have never seen this in the history of the A10 tournament being played here. Fordham's been at the doormat of this conference. Well, now it's different. Now the Bronx, as Coach Woodall said, comes to Brooklyn. We saw it on full display here tonight, and it was really a sight to watch.
We mentioned it. Fordham will be off tomorrow before getting back in action on Saturday afternoon at 3:30 p.m. on CBS Sports Network, and, of course, on WFUV Sports. Fordham and Dayton in the Atlantic 10 semifinals. Fordham looking to advance to the A10 championship game for the first time in the history of them being in the conference. But the final score from the Barclays Center, it's Fordham 69 and La Salle 61. We're going to go back to the Rose Hill Studios for the one-on-one post-game report with Lou Orlando.
The one-on-one post-game report.
This magical season for the Fordham Rams continues, a 69-61 win over the 11-seeded La Salle University. Fordham advances to the Atlantic 10 Championship semifinals for the first time since 2006. And Nick, what a game. You get 22 points from Darius Quisenberry, who hits that dagger three. The guys on the court, I think, said it best. That's the shot of the season. You get 20 points from Khalid Moore. 15 of them came in the second half. And by the way, you're talking about the second half. 30 combined points from Moore and Quisenberry out of the 35 second half points. They completely took over. Just what a win for this team. What a win for this program.
Yes, my initial reaction is just to take a deep breath. That was some second half. We knew La Salle were going to come out firing, and they did just that. They came out in the zone, a little bit of a different look that Fordham had to contend with, got back into it, but then Fordham kind of stretched away a little bit, but La Salle came back at the end. Fordham could not hit a free throw for the life of them. 11 of 24 from the line, 45%. That has to improve against Dayton. But with all that being said, with all, this game could have been, if Fordham shoots, as Ryan said on the broadcast, 70% from the line. It's not close. For all that being said, it's a A10 quarterfinal win. You're on to the semifinals, a chance to go to the championship game for the first time ever. And there's a lot to be happy about, but also there's a lot to improve on for Saturday.
Well, I think obviously you have to give credit to number 11 La Salle, right? They had a great effort, did not play like an 11 seed. I think conversely, if you're Fordham, you look at taking an 11-point lead into the second half and all those chances to extend that lead, right? La Salle comes out strong to start the second half, but you pull away again, and you have a couple chances where it looks like you could really drive the dagger into them and never really pulled away, and eventually you do, but I think you look at those moments, you look at some of the stretches of that game, and you go, man, maybe against a better team, we don't get the benefit of that doubt.
Yeah, those second half turnovers, too, was 11 turnovers for Fordham, 13 overall throughout the game. A little bit sloppy throughout, but the biggest thing is that with all that happening, when Fordham needed to make big shots, they made them. Darius Quisenberry stepped up, 10 of 19 shooting, 22 points, although it was just 1 of 7 from beyond the arc, but that one was the dagger.
Mattered.
That one was the dagger. And it's not about what happens, all throughout the game. It's that when it's close at the end, who's going to step up and take over the game? It was Darius Quisenberry in this one. Khalid Moore also came up huge, 20 points, 11 boards, just making his presence felt. Rostik Nowitzki with the blocks.
6 blocks.
6 blocks, almost unheard of. It was a full effort for Fordham, a full team effort. You watch that game and you see there are 100% things that have to get better for Dayton, but that game's on Saturday. For now, you can think about how when the going got tough, Fordham and their stars stepped up and they won a tournament game, which is not easy to do. The crowd was behind them the whole time, and you're in a conference tournament semifinal, which is a huge achievement in itself.
You talked about that crowd. I think I got the text. Keith Ergo said over 2,000 tickets got sold, and you really felt like it. Even on the TV, they just threw up there. They were doing the kind of like jokey awards, and they said the Fordham student section got an award for just being really loud. And that's exactly what happened, throwing some love towards Will Richardson, 10 points as a freshman in an A10 tournament game. And then, you do look ahead at Dayton. This is a team coming in number 1 in the preseason poll with 22 first-place votes. You get that day off. I think that's a little bit of a unique thing. A lot of times these tournaments, you don't get a day off, and it's just 3 straight days. So you get 2 days to prepare for Dayton. This is the top defense in the A10. They're not one of the best offenses, but they do have Deron Holmes and Tumani Kamara. Those are 2 of the best in the A10. So I think Fordham's going to have their hands full. This is a team that beat them earlier in the season. And so it's a tough matchup, but Fordham, as you said, 1 step closer to that A10 championship game.
And when Fordham met Dayton earlier in the season, it was not close. It was ugly. 82-58 for Dayton. I was at the Rose Hill Gym. Darius Quisenberry had just 3 points in 32 minutes. But this is a different Fordham team. They were 1-3 to start A10 play. They played a pretty soft non-conference schedule, but got through it, incredibly, just the 1 loss to Arkansas. And then you start out 1-3 in A10 play, and then you think, oh goodness, where's this going to go? But the 1-3 Fordham Rams that's a different team than the Rams that are in the semifinals of the A10s right now. Dayton have weapons. You mentioned how good they are defensively, and it's going to be a really, really tough matchup, and Fordham are going to have to clean up the things that were messy in this game, the free throw shooting, the turnovers. That stuff has to be cleaner against Dayton because you got a lot of second chances against La Salle that might not happen against the Flyers.
And there will be time to work on all that. There'll be time to prep for Dayton, but for tonight, Fordham wins. It's a chance for the Fordham Rams, for the Fordham fans to celebrate responsibly, of course, but a chance to enjoy this win and savor this. This was something coming into this year. not many people outside of Fordham expect it to happen. They get the 3 seed, they win in advance to the semifinals, and that will just about do it for our coverage here. For Julia Moss, who is our producer back there in the booth, Nick Palmer on updates. I'm Lou Orlando, Nick Guzman. You join me all day in the studio with updates. Bobby Chaffardini is our sports director. This has been a production of WFUV Sports. Have a great one, everybody.